Hello, welcome back to another live stream. This is the Total Movie Recall, episode number 11. It is, yep, number 11. We weren't here last week, unfortunately, guys. That was all down to me, my fault. I do apologize, but we made it up to you. We're back this week. We've got some special guests with us here today. We've got two regulars on the old live stream. Andy, you weren't here on the last one, but how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm good. I'm glad to be here. I've got some Scottish backup this time, though.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Although, as discussed off camera, he has the far better accent.
Badger, how are you doing, my friend? How's it all? Yeah. How's it all going? Are you okay?
Oh, jiggy good, sir, man. I'm just been busy with my projects, writing like a mofo, and just been enjoying the really overwhelming positive feedback I've been getting for my recent Thing videos. It's been a bit unnerving. I'm not used to it, but I'm adjusting and I'm flattered, so it's lovely. So yeah, man, I'm all jiggy, man, all jiggy.
Cool, man. Quality work. Loved the video game review you did of the Thing. That was awesome.
Yeah, I watched that. That was a good one.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I knew you would.
It stressed me out. Like, see that final boss bit that you covered in great detail? I was getting angry watching it. Angry at the developers. I wanted to get in touch with them and be like, this is ridiculous. I've just had this pointed out to me. This is a shambles.
Yeah, it wasn't the final boss, it was the third boss. It was almost, but yeah, I did a massive rant about him, and I know from personal experience that you do enjoy my ranty videos, so I knew you did that.
Yeah, justified though, like no health pickups and stuff, and trying to get like the damage you have to suck up with the door that explodes and all this. So it's like,
yeah, dude.
Glad I didn't get to that stage of the game because I would have lost the rag with it back then.
13-year-old me was very upset, and 32-year-old me is still upset. So, yeah, what it is. But yeah, either way, I'm really flattered. Thank you very much. And Ellis, holy moly, I like your hat, and I need to.
Thank you, man. Lethal Weapon 3. It's not my favorite one. Lethal Weapon 2 is my favorite one, but I saw this on eBay and I had to grab it.
It looks like a crew hat, as though you were.
It does, yeah.
It's like a biker hat, you know, like the bike, like you get the short shorts on and the bikes and stuff like that. But anyway, enough about my hat. We've got a special guest on the stream tonight, joining us for the first time, Jimmy, aka Scottish Geek Guy. How the hell are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, guys. Thanks very much for having me on. I feel like I should say as well, I'm not backup to Andy. I'm honors. That's what we would call backup up here. Honors.
All right.
So what's that?
What's that? Explain what honors means?
Watch this. That's what that is.
What's honors? I don't get it. What's that?
Honors is just Scottish slang for backup.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
Comes from like hand, so like hands.
I think like someone to give you a hand. Scottish slang for hand is hon, so honors. And you know, who knows why? But that's you know.
Give us a hand, basically.
Yeah.
Ironically, because it sounds like you two need a hand speaking English.
See, the thing is, I find anyway that when you're on with another Scottish person, you get even faster.
Yeah.
Because
me and Badger are gonna have to be on it tonight, guys.
Someone else is here who understands, so you relax a bit, and your natural kind of like faster speech rhythm.
Each Scottish accent.
So I apologise in advance.
Scottish accent.
It's a bad time to have Tourette's. It's a real bad time to have Tourette's syndrome. Then, in other words, this ain't gonna go well. Let's go on it.
Right, guys. Just for your information tonight, no tier list. It is just a news roundup. But because we weren't here last week, there's obviously a shit ton of news to get into. So we'll get straight into it. We've got about, I'm hoping for 12 news topics tonight, but I'm being ambitious there, folks. We'll see how we get on. All right, guys. First news story of the night. Thought we'd just have a little chat about Mad Max for a second. So Furiosa is coming out next Friday, I believe. We will be entering the gates of Valhalla next Friday. Witness me. Very excited for Furiosa. But this one is obviously a film without Mad Max. It says Mad Max Saga, but no Mad Max will be involved with this one so far, as we know. I haven't seen the film. But the film has just been premiered in Cannes, and the reviews have started coming out for Furiosa now, and it's getting, I think IGN gave it a 10 out of 10, if I believe.
Did they?
Yeah, they really loved it.
Okay.
I'm not sure what they gave Fury Road. I'd be quite interested to find out what they gave that. But yeah, he was getting interviewed at Cannes Film Festival. George Miller won't rule out another Mad Max movie as Furiosa team meets the press in Cannes. And I just wanted to scroll down to this little bit, this little quote he had. So he was getting interviewed and he came out with, there are certainly other stories there, mainly because in order to tell the story of Fury Road, we had to know the backstory of Furiosa and Max the year before. Miller, when asked if he has more Mad Max movies left in the tank, that was the tool for the cast and crew. We know the Max story from the year before. I'll definitely wait to see how Furiosa goes before we even think about it. So I just wanted to get, are we excited for Furiosa, and are we excited at the prospect of possibly a new Mad Max entry after Furiosa? And do we want to see Mad Max in the center role with this new film? And do we think Tom Hardy will be coming back? Because obviously, if you're aware, Fury Road, that was a bad shoot, I think, for most people involved. It was obviously infamous that Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy had a bit of a spout throughout that shooting of that film. So it was obviously a tough one. But George Miller actually come out and spoke about that and said there was no excuse for it quite recently. But yeah, guys, how are we feeling about Furiosa? Are we excited? And would we like to see another one of these? And do we want to see Mad Max in the role? Andy, I'll go to you first for this one, mate.
Yes. Hell yes. I want to see more Mad Max. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for Furiosa. Is it Furiosa or is it Furiosa? Furiosa. Yeah, so no, I think I'm believing the hype. So it seems to be everybody that's seen it is raving about it. And I don't see why it wouldn't be good. It's the same people behind Fury Road, isn't it? So there's no reason why it shouldn't be good. So yeah, but I do think it'd be nice to get back to. I'm saying that before I've even seen Furiosa, but I do think it'd be nice at some point to return. At the end of the day, it's still billed as a Mad Max story or a Mad Max saga or something.
Saga.
Yeah, Mad Max saga.
Yeah, saga. So it'd be nice to return to the main character at some point, because as much as he's in Fury Road, we learn literally nothing about him. He's just a kind of stoic, silent figure, and I think George Miller's relying on the previous films and people's existing knowledge of the franchise to kind of fill in the gaps. Yeah. But if you're coming to Mad Max Fury Road, maybe as a younger person who's not watched the older films, because let's face it, they're a good 40 years old now. So you don't really know much about Max, I know. So you don't know much about Max. So I think it is important to revisit it and kind of redo the backstory, if you like, and maybe add something to it as well. What he's been up to since then. So I think it'd be good. Yeah, I'm definitely on board for more Max.
Cool, man. Jimmy, what are your overall thoughts on the Mad Max, franchise? And would you want to see what's your are you looking forward to Furiosa? Is it one on your list to see this year? And if so, would you want to see Tom Hardy reprise his role as Mad Max?
Furiosa is definitely on my list of films to see this year. I think Fury Road was, I can't remember what else came out that year specifically, but I'd be, Fury Road was probably the best film of that year. I'm sure Empire Film gave it best film of that decade. I think that is a phenomenal film. I just remember just being blown away in the cinema. I think I saw that the day it came out, and I was like, I need to see that again. And then I saw it on the Sunday again, just because I was like, I need to watch that again. So I was a huge fan of that. When they announced that they were doing a Furiosa movie, initially I was like, it's a prequel and it's not about Mad Max. That doesn't seem like a good idea. But the more I kind of thought about it, and then once I saw the trailers, I was like, no, I'm sold. The trailer sold it for me right away. But if you think about Fury Road, even though it's called Mad Max Fury Road, Mad Max, like Max Rockatansky, or if that isn't, he's a passenger in that movie. Like, if you take him out of the movie, the events more or less happen the same way. Like, I think, and I think that was kind of low key by design by George Miller. He called it Mad Max Fury Road, but really, Fury Road is it's at least as much Furiosa's story as it is Max's story, I reckon. So when you think about it in that context, a prequel with Furiosa makes more sense. So I'll happily go and see Furiosa. Very much looking forward to it. I'll be happy if they make any movies based in that universe, because that's, I mean, the Fury Road movie was just phenomenal. It takes a lot to like make a, I don't want to say game changing movie, but like, what else before or since has been like that movie?
Other than the Road Warrior.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but it's basically just the Road Warrior on like steroids, isn't it? It's kind of like,
100%.
I thought it was kind of like, here's the Road Warrior. Everyone loved the Road Warrior, but look what we can do now with that same concept.
Yeah.
In 2014, 2015, that's basically what Fury Road was, in my opinion. But better, because it probably the supporting cast were probably more interesting. But the Road Warrior is definitely a film about Max. You know, there's a bit of development for Max, there's redemption for Max, kind of thing. Whereas I think Jimmy's right in what he's saying, that he's almost a supporting character in Fury Road.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made. He is sort of like that in that original trilogy as well. So, like in the Road Warrior, he doesn't have a lot of lines of dialogue in the Road Warrior, does he? I think like as Mad Max as the main character is the most in the first one. So that one from 79 or 78, whenever it come out, he's like the main character in that one. You see his family die and stuff like that in that one. I personally think that's where he gets the most growth, is in that first movie, that origin sort of story. But yeah, man, Badger, Mad Max, are you a fan of this franchise? Are you looking forward to Furiosa?
Absolutely.
Where are your thoughts on this one, mate?
Well, I'm not too well versed in this franchise because I've only seen the first one on Fury Road. I need to see the second and third one. I need to get on it. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the first one. Much bigger fan of the fourth one. Absolutely, it's one of the most impressive looking films I've ever seen. Really is the outcome of just having too much of an imagination. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell this guy who made it just did not grow up ever since he was a kid. He still has that childlike imagination. How he thought of all of that is just insane. Sorry, who's the director again? Miller? George Miller. There you go. Yeah, so I'm so impressed with his resume of films because he is eclectic as fuck, man. You know what I mean? From Happy Feet to Babe.
I know.
Yeah.
So he does
Babe,
everything. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He does. He's mental. So and he's now like 80 odd and he's still just donning it. Do you know what I mean? He's in his prime and he's like in his 80s or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you just be human, please? You cheeky, cocky mofo. What the fuck? So it's mental. I'm so impressed that he's still doing this, pumping life into his franchise. And I do not think Tom Hardy will be in this, but I'm not too fussed if he will be, because I didn't think he was that special in the fourth film. Obviously, he was great in it, but it wasn't his film. It was Charlize Theron's film. And she kicked ass in that film. She was just so fucking good in it. Her missing that arm and still just dominating the screen. I was like, just give me this. Badass. So absolutely, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not too fussed about him returning. Don't think he will. But if he does, cool. And I hope for many more films in this universe, because why should a universe this epic and fantastic and abstract, why should it be relegated to just having a few characters and a few movies? Give us more of this, man. You're going to give us 1,000 Marvel films.
What's Master Blaster doing, man? But extra bonus question for you with this one. Would you like, I know he's like a terrible guy, but I would sort of love to see like an old haggard Mel Gibson back in the role again. I know it would never, ever, ever happen, but it could. It's not like out of the question.
I very much think it could happen. I think in terms of like in terms of like public opinion and whatnot, I think he could make a comeback. Like, I think that's.
He's done some brilliant work, like in the last 10 years. I don't know if you've seen it, but Dragged Across Concrete and
it's brilliant.
It's awesome film, and Mel Gibson's great in him.
man.
He wasn't in that Cell Block film, was he? He wasn't in that, was he?
Dragged Across Concrete?
Shit, no. But it's the same director. Totally mixed up with that.
But no, he wasn't in that one, was he? Right.
Mel Gibson was Vincent Vaughn you're thinking of, but Mel Gibson was in Dragged Across Concrete.
No, he's talking about Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Okay, I'm going to shut up. I'm shutting up. I'm just being stupid.
I've not seen Dragged Across Concrete.
It's good. It's good.
I fancied it, and then I read a review for it saying that it was quite a kind of difficult, grim.
It's a slow burn.
Watch.
But like in a good way.
I wouldn't say it put me off, but it maybe kind of. I could have put it further down the pile.
Andy, I think you'd enjoy that one, definitely. He plays like a crooked cop in it, man. It's really good, man. Sick.
I like Mel Gibson. I know he's had some very troublesome views, but I mean the guy was an alcoholic, so
exactly.
I think, to my knowledge, I don't think there's been any flare-ups with his behaviour in the last 10, 15 years. I'm quite sure he's changed his views.
Yeah, I think
I get that stuff rightly follows you around. Like it shouldn't be brushed under the carpet, but
of course,
I think people could deserve a second chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, in the court of public opinion, I think he's redeemable. Like I don't think he's beyond redemption in terms of like his whether or not he has changed or not, or he's just presents himself. Whether or not it's genuine or not. Like I think his public persona is redeemable. I don't think he's he's not done anything that's like, irredeemable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I honestly think that the two roles that would get him out of the bad camp would either be another Lethal Weapon film, which I think's past its sell-by date now. I think Richard Donner was on about doing it before he died, and then saying Mel Gibson would be a good director for it. Can't see that happening personally now, but Mad Max is like, we'll talk about a story later on that we're going to get to, but it's a similar sort of situation where Mad Max is an older, grizzled, like old man Logan style. I think it could work, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If he gets a line as badass as like you gotta hack through your ankle, so if he gets a line like that,
I'd love to see Mel Gibson back in Mad Max. And I think sometimes people that have been kind of like fallen from grace that way, like your Robert Downey Jr.'s and stuff. Sometimes they need a role or they need to revisit a role, and I think like the Mad Max role would be good for Mel Gibson because it's a troubled character who's lost his humanity, and in many ways you could round out the arc by bringing Mel Gibson back, and in the end finds it somehow maybe and passes it on to the new Max or whatever. And sometimes life imitates art or art imitates life. It's kind of like it would work because you're also thinking about Mel Gibson's actual life in the background, and sometimes I think that can make it even more powerful. So it's kind of I think that'd be a good role for him.
Ben Affleck did something similar where he played like a recovering alcoholic, and it was sort of like a semi
Way back, was it?
Yeah, I think it was that. It was about basketball or something like that.
Yeah, it's called Finding the Way Back over here, but in America it's called The Way Back. I've got it on Blu-ray just there.
I've not seen it, but I've heard people say it's quite good.
Yeah, it's great. I really like it.
I totally wouldn't be surprised if Max cameos in Furiosa. Like it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so it's what it's set. Does it say like what is it? 20 years maybe before Fury Road? I'm just guessing just based on like the ages of the actresses, but so it's set like 15, 20 years before. So
it must be.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Max cameo in Furiosa.
Like a silhouette in the background or something.
Like good or bad, it's gonna work.
Aye.
It'll work.
When does that come out in here? Is it next Friday?
Like 2 weeks. Next Friday,
Next Friday,
yeah. Yeah, man.
That's an IMAX job.
Yeah, for sure.
No IMAX name. All right, guys, we'll move on. Next story here. This one just got announced yesterday, I think it was. So, John Wick 4 It was one of my favorite movies of, was it last year or the year before? When did John Wick 4 come out? Last year, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year. One of my favorite films last year. A lot like Mad Max Fury Road, where that sort of changed the game for the action genre. I personally think I haven't seen anything as good as Mad Max Fury Road until we got to John Wick 4, just on a pure action sort of level. Like the stunt choreography and stuff like that is just 10 to none in that. The only problem with John Wick 4 is that it maybe goes on a bit too long. But one of the best aspects of that film was undoubtedly Donnie Yen. So it's just been announced that Donnie Yen, who played Kane in John Wick 4, is getting a spin-off movie. So just wanted to get your quick thoughts on this one. I think it was a no-brainer, to be honest, because his character in that film was so sick, and I'd love to see a proper martial arts orientated John Wick film. Obviously, they feature a lot of like gun what do they call it? Gun fu or whatever. Gun fu. But
wow.
Yeah, I'd like to see some hand-to-hand combat, baby. And it definitely does have it in there, obviously, but Donnie Yen is just so cool in that film. I think this could be really cool. And if I'm being honest, I'm surprised this wasn't like announced 3 months after the film coming out. But yeah, John Wick spin-off starring Donnie Yen with Umbrella Academy writer Robert Askins in the works. Filming set for Hong Kong in 2025. I just want to say Hong Kong, great location for the John Wick franchise. I think the John Wick movies have just got more neon as they've went on, and that's cool with me. So Hong Kong, it's gonna be a colorful one. Definitely great setting to have that. But yeah, guys, Donnie Yen spin-off with Kane from John Wick 4. Badger, I know you weren't a mega fan of John Wick 4. What do you think of this one, brother?
I'm just gonna clutter up the runtime, dude. I don't have that much to offer. I'm really not a fan. The first one I really did like, surprisingly. Second one I was not as good, but I liked it. Third one was incredibly impressive, but I still thought it was barely passable as a film. I just wasn't that into it. But goddamn, it was impressive. Those dogs were badass. But that fourth one, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm still trying to find my attention span. So yeah, look, I don't really give a damn about this. I really don't. I just hope it's good. I hope everyone else enjoys it as much as they should, considering they're coming straight from the previous films. I only just recently got into Donnie Yen myself. I only just recently, with my uncle, watched all 4 Ip Man films, and I'm really into them. Really, really, really bloody awesome, especially that first one. Jesus.
Yeah.
I've got it on Blu-ray behind me. I'll be selling that soon just so I can upgrade to 4K when it comes out. Like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm assuming it's
out.
Sorry?
The first 4 Ip Man is out. There's a 4K box set, isn't it?
It's coming out. It's coming out, not yet, but it's coming out.
I've got it next door. Hang on. Chat amongst yourselves. Hang on.
What have I started off? I was worried about cluttering up the page.
See, just while you're talking about that franchise, I've never seen them, but I fancy them myself. But is that how you say it? Is it Ip Man? It's not. Yes. I always just assumed it was IP Man.
So did I.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Badger, do we need to be watching them? Are they just like really solid martial arts films?
Absolutely, and I was really interested in them.
You get on them.
What's good all there? Okay, well, from what I heard, it wasn't out, but it's coming out. That's what I heard. Damn,
okay. Nice.
Give Jimmy the big screen till we see this.
Nice. All right, well, that's the case.
I want to look at
this. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, give him the big screen. That's it. The big screen.
So this is
right.
This is so it's a box set with the first 4 movies on 4K.
But not the spin-offs. No, the spin-offs aren't in there.
No. So it's Ip Man. Yeah, just Ip Man 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I've not done an unboxing for this, but maybe I should. So you've
preview got on the live stream.
I was waiting for it to come out. I didn't know.
Ip Man 1.
Oh wow! Look at that sexy bastard. Jesus Christ! I'm in love here, man.
Are you talking about Ip Man or me? 3. And Hitman 4, the finale, brackets, wasn't really the finale.
Yeah, actually, I thought he was going like that there in the cover. 4. Looks like he's
and then you
holding
get
up 4 fingers.
there's a cool wee booklet you get with it as well.
Oh, I love it. Oh, well.
Yeah,
I need
so
to
that's,
get on these, definitely.
Who's
that's a
that
box.
from, Jimmy? What label's that?
Oh, hang on. Where's the J card? Oh, shit. And I've just, I've totally forgot. It comes with a really high quality A1 poster. Like
Pride
proper
of
cinema
place.
quality. Yeah, there we go.
I like it. Okay, I did not know this existed. I heard.
Yeah,
that
I've had this for a good year or so. I can't
When I
find
did research, it said that it's coming out soon. I didn't know it was already out. So if that's the case, I'm selling my copy just to get that. Hell yeah. I'm a fan of all that. And I'm sure Donnie Yen's going to be good in the new John Wick film, but I don't really give a damn.
Yeah.
I'm not got no stakes. So hope it's good. And I didn't mean to clutter up the pace of this stream, but I'm glad it's happened now because I've just been educated. That's great. That's awesome, man. That's a sexy ass box there, man.
It's a nice box. It's and like the actual you'll love this, man. The main box that it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice, that man.
Nice.
It's gorgeous.
What label is it, Jimmy?
That's what I'm just checking. So it's from the Blu-rays that are in it are Region A. So it's from America.
That'd be why.
Well, go USA Entertainment, whoever that is.
Some American
Yeah.
Are they locked then?
So the region, the Blu-ray discs are Region A, but the 4Ks are always region free. Apart from one or two mistakes, 4Ks are always region free.
Cool. Okay, great. Well, thank you for educating me. That's bloody awesome. I didn't know that existed. I'm glad I brought it up. I'm actually glad I did speak my mind for once.
Yeah, man. And then there's the shot from that iconic fight in the first movie.
Yeah, man.
I need to get on these desperately.
Yeah,
Have you never seen them?
I've never seen any of them.
Oh, they're all good. Like, I mean, a lot of people give throw a bit of hate towards the third one with Mike Tyson, but I think that's perfectly fine. Like,
Mike Tyson's in it. Like, what?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, man. Scott Adkins is in the fourth one.
Yeah.
Wait, Scott Adkins is in the fourth one.
Scott Adkins is in the fourth one.
The stream and tell me now. Let's go and watch these.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's fight scene is a scene that my uncle showed me, and that's what got me into the whole Hitman thing. He showed it to me on YouTube. I was like, "What the fuck? I've never seen this. This is amazing. The fight scene's incredible, and maybe want to watch it." So he then told me, like, "Hey, we got to watch it soon." I bought them on Blu-ray. Went to his house. We binged them all, and it was a fucking great time. It was only recently, a couple months ago, so I'm happy with this.
There he is. There's an Iron Mike Tyson.
That is so funny.
Look at that pose, man. That is something you would like do an ungodly amount of things to avoid that being right there in your face.
Yeah.
Him getting ready to punch you.
Good luck, Jake Paul.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Someone's got
It's getting everywhere. It doesn't matter whether it's WWF, Hitman.
Is that still happening, that fight? That Jake Paul fight?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. As far as I know. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, man. Nice.
But Jimmy, you're obviously a big fan of Donnie Yen. What do you think about this sort of?
Yes, I try not to swear on these live streams because my kids sometimes watch them. But fuck yes, like, big Donnie Yen fan from like way back, even before he was in Blade 2, which I think was one of his first one of his first American movies.
Of course,
but, big fan of Donnie Yen. I remember watching Hitman, probably like when it first became available. Was it VHS? Or it might have been the DVD days. But I remember someone in school, or it might have been like early uni days, someone talking about that fight scene at the end of Hitman 1, where he takes on like the 20 karate dojo guys, and there's one specific shot that's like, if ever I do a top 10 fight scenes, that's easily top 5. Where he does the Badger, you'll probably remember this one. Oh, he's away. Where he does the bicycle punch to the guy, and you're just like, there's no way of faking that. Like, the guy was probably padded up, but I'm sure it hurt like hell. And it's just that the whole movie, like, kind of, it's building to this epic fight, and when it gets to it, it is epic. But that's not the question. We're talking about the John Wick spinoff. I'm a John Wick fan. The fourth one was far too long. I've always thought the fourth one you could cut in half repurpose it slightly, and that could be John Wick 4 and John Wick 5, because it's like it's a ball here under what, 3 hours, something like that, like 2 hours 45 minutes. You could easily, like, that could have been John Wick 4 and John Wick 5. I'm not even saying like John Wick 4 Part 1 and John Wick 4 Part 2, because nobody wants that. But there was, but here's the ironic thing is, even though it's too long, every stunt in it, every fight scene in it, every car chase scene in it is brilliant. There's just too many of them. So
too
like,
many.
Cut it in half, repurpose it so that it's, you know, John Wick 4 and John Wick 5. I would have been happy with that. I think with the spin-offs, I think whoever the studio is, or the creative people behind it, my worry is that they're doing a Sony Spider-Man thing where they've got a popular IP, Hitman. They've got a popular IP, and they're just trying to milk it for everything they can. So not only do we have the main John Wick movies, you had the Continental spin-off show, which wasn't amazing. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't amazing. You've got Ballerina coming up as well, and now we've got, you know, the Donnie Yen spin-off. Yes, it's a popular character, but is it a franchise character? Is the world a franchise-worthy world? Look at what Sony has done with Spider-Man. You could argue that that's a much more franchisable property, but they've messed it up big time.
I think that's an execution problem from them.
John Wick is hugely popular for two main reasons. One is Keanu Reeves, and two is the creative team behind it. The stunt team who graduated from being stuntmen to making movies. You take away Keanu Reeves, and you take away that creative team, and you have something like the Continental, which wasn't great. So Donnie Yen, yes, expanding the John Wick universe so quickly, so fast, maybe not.
I think if there was going to be anyone who was going to have a spin-off from this franchise, it would be Donnie Yen. I'd want to see, though. Just he was so sick.
I agree.
I'm not really interested in Jamie.
I'm more excited about this than I am about Ballerina. And I mean, I've already seen the Continental, and it wasn't great. So I mean, this has the best chance of being good because it's Donnie Yen.
Yeah, Andy, Donnie Yen, Kane, John Wick 4. Do you want to see a spin-off from this character?
Yeah, I mean, I think mild spoiler alert here, but there's, if you remember, if you had it in you to actually wait to the end of the credits after being punched and shot to death for like 3 hours in John Wick Part 4, there was an end credit sequence where it featured Donnie Yen. I thought it was going to be the dreaded Keanu Reeves get out a fucking coffin or something like that, just to confirm that there would be like a fifth one, but it was actually Donnie Yen and the daughter of the Japanese guy.
Oh yeah.
Who assists John Wick at the beginning, who Donnie Yen kills. So it was kind of teasing that there's like unfinished business almost between. So it's obviously been they wouldn't have done that end credit sequence unless they knew at that point that they were maybe looking at doing, I'm assuming, some kind of spin-off with Donnie Yen. I think it's the right direction. I'm terrified. I'm terrified for everyone who likes film, and especially John Wick fans, that they managed to bring Keanu Reeves back. Right, it needs to finish. That his involvement with John Wick needs to be over now, or else it will be. He pushed the boundaries with the fourth one. I thought it got farcical. Like it was the only one I laughed at. I was watching with my brother and I was enjoying it. But the stair sequence and when he jumped out that window as well, it was getting to the point where it was like you had to laugh because it was like, right, okay, come on, he's not superhuman. Like unless they're going to mention that he's actually like possessed by the devil and he's got superhuman crow-like powers, like this is getting stupid. So when he died at the end, I thought, okay, that's fine. Let's leave it there. Like it's a nice ending. It's a Logan-esque ending. So I think if there is going to be any more Wick, it needs to be without him.
I agree.
So I'm just glad that and I think Donnie Yen's the perfect type guy for it, because he was a blind spot for me. I've got a IMDb up, and the trailer for It Man is running in the background. It looks amazing already.
It's great.
So I've seen Regin Of Fire. Obviously, I'm in the Star Wars movie. and that's about it. So Donnie M was a total kind of blind spot for me, but he was awesome. He was a proper addition to John Wick 4. And like you said, Ellis, he's probably the natural. If there's going to be a spin-off, he's the natural best candidate for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be up for that. He's obviously got the technical ability. Now it's the same team behind it. He's got a really unique trait, and he's blind. So it gives them, because I think they've exhausted every form of like martial arts, kung fu with Keanu Reeves. What else can they do with him? But
yeah,
at least now they can play around with the choreography because it's a blind guy. So it'll be fresh because he's got a different skill set. Whereas it's getting to the point where you've seen Keanu Reeves do everything. There's nothing left for him to do, kind of thing. So yeah, I think this would be good, and yeah, I'm probably more interested in that than the ballerina one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. Like I said up top, I want to see like a more martial arts based John Wick film. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. Moving on to our next story. All right, Badger. This one's for me and you, mate. This one's especially for me and you, mate.
You got to be scared.
We're back after 12 years. We're going to Furia. We are getting a sequel to Riddick. Woo! Right. I love this franchise. I am unapologetic about loving the Chronicles of Riddick. It's probably my favorite one out of the three. I can't lie. No, Pitch Black's amazing. It's really good. It's sick. But and Riddick's mint. We get that sort of not old man Logan Riddick vibe, but like that whole first 20 minutes of Riddick that came out in 2013, where it's like Bear Grylls, but Riddick. It's so sick, man. But yeah, I think this is amazing. We're finally going to Furia, which was set up a lot in the Chronicles of Riddick, about his home planet. That's where he's from. But yeah, I've just got the story up here. But folks, what are our sort of initial thoughts on the Pitch Black franchise as it is? So with the 3 movies, I think they had an animated anime out as well, and they also had the game Escape from Butcher's Bay, I think it was. But Butcher Bay, yeah, I love this franchise. This is my favorite role from Vin Diesel, without a shadow of a doubt. I always thought this should have been the thing that he put his time and effort in and made this his franchise instead of Fast and Furious, because I think that got silly and it got, out there. Whereas Riddick, I think because it being set in space and galaxies and whatever, and you can follow him as an old man, like that is way more viable, I think, than what he's doing in the Fast and Furious franchise at the moment.
Fast and Furious went to space, though, didn't they? So I think it's the same thing.
Shit, you are right.
Maybe it'll be a crossover.
No.
It'll make it canon that like his character in Fast and Furious is actually like kind of telling it multi-dimensional version of
No, I don't need Tyrese fighting necromongers and stuff like that. I'm okay.
I'd be happy with necromongers killing the Tyrese character in a brutal fashion, though.
Yeah, get Carl Urban back to do it, man. I'll be all for it.
I'm just imagining the cameo of like the Dodge Charger, whatever it is, like floating through space.
There's countless memes like that already.
Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. So sequel of this is coming after 12 years, I think it is. What I found interesting and something I didn't know until reading a bit more into this is that Vin Diesel actually owns the rights to this franchise now. So he can literally do whatever the hell he wants. He got the rights to the franchise as doing a favor for appearing in Fast and Furious. I had no idea. Says here, after spending nearly 10 years in development hell, Riddick Furia is ready to return to cinemas sometime soon. Vin Diesel will reprise his role as the intergalactic outlaw Riddick and previously acquired the rights to the franchise in exchange for appearing in Fast and Furious. That blows my mind. Really does. But yeah, guys, I think this is set for shooting in August as well.
Oh,
so
nice.
This is coming round pretty quick. I don't know how long it's been in sort of this pre-production stage for, but I've got to say, guys, I am so pleased about this. Like, old man Riddick, this is what we need. Going to Furia, seeing that place where we've heard about it for 3 movies now. So I'll be really interested to see what happens with this. But Badger, I know you're a big fan, mate. What are your thoughts and feelings on this brilliant news?
Not even 3 seconds. Just wait there. Not even 3 seconds. They say most of your brain shuts down in cryo sleep. All but the primitive side, the animal side. No wonder I'm still awake.
Oh my God, is that you, Finn?
Just closing my eyes and picturing.
Say it again. Say it again.
I just ate a load of Dominoes. Listen, man, I am a big fan, but I'm very different to you, Ellis, because I'm not stupid.
I know.
Dude,
Yeah.
all the
Everyone knows Pitch Black is the best of the 3.
No, it is. I just got a lot of nostalgia for Chronicles of Riddick. Okay.
Oh, I love Chronicles as well.
Okay, well, so Jimmy,
Controversial
you're
opinion
not
here,
spoke.
folks. But I watched Pitch Black when it came out 20 years ago, and I thought it was amazing. And then I got it in the Arrow sale there, like the Blu-ray was like 10 quid or something. So I was like, I'll finally get this because the slipcover's awesome. It had the slipcover on it, which influenced my purchase because I thought, oh, it's still getting the slipcover. That's pretty rare at this stage. It's been out for a while, and it's got the cool like night and day, like the front. I'm so sad. The slipcover's like day, and you take it off, and the cover underneath night.
Love it.
Like, kind of shit gets me. So I was like, I'm having this. Took it home, stuck it on, and I'm watching it, and I'm like 20 minutes in, and I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be good. Like, I was like, I don't know, does it get better after that first 20 minutes? Because that's not the film I remembered, man. I was kind of like, that's not really what I was expecting.
It's like the last 20 minutes for me that goes out the window a little bit just because of how dated the CGI is just in that last third.
Yeah.
It's just corny dialogue. I read a lot of reviews after it, and to be fair, it said that like if you get past that first 20-25 minutes, you then get a cracking film. So maybe that's what happened that night. I was probably too tired to put it on, and I watched that first 20 minutes, and I was like, yeah, this is, the dialogue's a bit corny, and it's taking its time here, but maybe I just didn't stick it out. But I think I've seen them all, I think. But as someone who loves sci-fi, there've not been films that have stuck with me. You know, normally that kind of thing, anything really sci-fi, I'll probably, if it's mainstream and people like it, chances are I'll like it. But didn't stick with me. Maybe it's because I'm not a big fan of Vin Diesel, but yeah. So I'm just going to hijack this conversation here. But for me, it's a bit of a no news event, really, because it's not. I appreciate there's big fans of it, so it's great that he's getting another film. But maybe for me, it's a reason to go back though and give them another look.
Yeah. Okay, so
Chronicles is good, man.
Ellis,
It's ambitious.
Ellis, it's all good now, Ellis. I like you now. It's all good. Andy saved you from my hatred.
And I realised the absurdity of like ditching Pitch Black on a stream where there's a guy wearing Pitch Black. Like you're pissing into the wind. You know what I mean? So he's not going to just take. The badger's not going to take them off and go. Got a point.
I'm just a patient man. I'm just waiting for Ellis to kick you off, mate. That's all I'm doing right now.
Oh, you're a gentleman.
No.
That's cool, man. Look, you into what you're into. I was just dissing.
I watched it at the end of the day, so like, I still did my bit. I'm sure I will watch it all, and I'll be like, yeah, it's good. But even if it's not, it's a sick case, so it's cool.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to get it on 4K. I just don't own it yet. Yeah, I'm an avid fan of Pitch Black. I think the dialogue is corny, but I love it. I think it's beyond quotable. I think the first one is incredibly well done. Already had a damn fine story, a mixture of multiple genres, but then you've got Vin Diesel in there. Just remarkable. I love the fact it's barely his film until the last half. He's just a formidable presence in the beginning. I love him so much. Easily his best performance, his best role. I don't even mind the bad CGI toward the end because it's all dark. It's at nighttime, so it's hidden. I don't mind it. Yeah. Second one, I've seen it plenty of times, so it's done something right, but I still am not a fan of it. If I was being generous, I give it a 5 out of 10. I'm not a fan, really. I think they made it way too big and epic. It was small and grounded, then it went way too epic. The CGI in that was diabolical. It looks like TV movie budget stuff. I can't stand it. Like, but the plot as well was terrible for me. How that whole prison sequence in it was brilliant. I wish they just kept it as that. That's throughout the whole film, making him, having this secret past where he's come from a planet of people who can see in the dark. I was like, oh, come on, man. Don't do that to him. It was also when he was just meant to be a prisoner who had his eyes done just to make him, what I mean? They retconned his eyes and gave it a big epic mythology. I can't stand it. I haven't seen the animated little cartoon yet, but I will do one day. Third one was a big surprise to me because of how it took it away from the epic stuff. And it was just this weird, like, survival story for most part. Where he's just by himself. It's a strange sequel, but I do like it a lot. The first game as well was goddamn outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Vin Diesel gave a remarkable performance in it, man. He actually made using a med kit sound cool. As soon as he sees it, he's like, a med kit takes away the hurt, but leaves the pain. I was like, okay, say that again when I've got my hand down my pants. Holy moly. I love it, man. And the second game was pretty decent too. I'm a big fan, but that whole epic backstory stuff beyond gets on my nerves. So it looks like they're fully embracing that with the fourth one. So I'm nervous. Either way, as long as the story ends, I'm fine. As long as we get to a conclusion, I'm okay with it. But please don't make it like the second one, because in my opinion, oh God, no. It's got plenty of greatness in there, but that whole, especially if you watch the director's cut, where it gives him these weird force powers, where he makes people levitate around him and stuff like that, it's like, no, don't do this. So whatever, we'll see what happens. Here's open.
I keep getting over your glasses, Badger.
I forgot I even had them on.
Finding them funny again. I'm like,
I actually forgot I was wearing them for a second. Then
I forget you're wearing them, and then I realize again, and I start laughing, and then I impose myself.
I think one of my favorite elements about Pitch Black is the sort of dynamic he has with is it Toombs? Badger,
Eugene
Victor. Who is in the first one? Who is the main villain sort of in the first one? The guy who's like Johns. Yeah, that whole dynamic he has with him and that back and forth throughout that sort of first 45 minutes of the film. I love that.
Absolutely fantastic. And the woman,
the
woman was even better. How they are.
Yeah, she was good. Yeah, really good.
Absolutely. How they're a reflection of each other. How they're on two opposite sides of the realm. I love that, how both of their bad sides cancel each other out by the end. I think that is such well done writing. Just goddamn, I love it too much, and how it went down the path it did bothers me, but I accept it in a kind of. Either way, here's open.
Yeah, man. Jimmy, what are we feeling about this one, mate? We're 12 years after the fact of Riddick. What are your thoughts on the franchise? Are you excited for a new movie in the franchise? What are your thoughts on it, mate?
I mean, so I think the working title is what is it, Furia or Riddick : Furia, something like that. Yeah. Big fan of the first movie. I've not seen it in a good wee while. I can't really remember the CGI, but I can imagine it being quite dated. But I thought the first one was brilliant. Especially how they kind of like flipped like the typical heroic character tropes, where it's like that bit at the end when he's like leaving everyone.
Yes.
Die.
Yeah. Brilliant.
And he's grabbing her, and he's been a dick about it. He's like, you want to leave them, just leave them. Come on, I'll make it easy. Come on. Like, and this is the hero of the movie. So I like the overall like concept of the movie, combined with like the flipping the traditional archetypal heroic characters, flipping those character tropes on their head, but still making a kick-ass movie. It was brilliant. Again, like I said, I've not seen it in a long time, so yeah, I imagine the CGI is quite dated, but I can easily get past that, because it's it's an older, low-budget movie. When they finally made the Chronicles of Riddick, I was really excited for it, but when I heard it was going to be a 12A, I was like, ooh. They're making it like a more kind of popular fan, like family friendly ish type movie. and that's kind of what they did. I agree with Badger. They expanded the universe so much so that they forgot what made it cool. What made it cool was you had this one guy who chose to get his eyes surgically changed so that he could see in the dark to survive in a prison, better. That's a cool backstory. Retconning that was a stupid idea. Maybe they'll retcon the retcon. Who knows?
No, because in the game showed it happening. It actually
doubled
showed
down on it.
Exactly. In the
enough.
video game, he's just sat down in a doctor's chair, but then it just randomly happens, and it's so annoying. Do you remember, by the way, real quick? Do you remember the awesome explanation that he gave us to how he got the eyes in the first film? He actually explained how he got them. Do you remember?
Yep. Yeah, I remember it. He's explaining it to what's the boy who ends up being the girl? Yeah,
Carolyn and Jack, and
yeah.
He explains it like how he did it, and I wet myself. I think it's great. He said, "You dig up a doctor, and then you pay him 20 menthol cools to do a surgical shine job."
Yeah,
and I was like, 20 menthol cools. 20 menthol cools. That's cigarettes, man. You paid cigarettes. Are you joking?
Yeah.
I love that. So awesome. And then they retcon it. Dumb as fuck.
Like I did like elements of Riddick. Like I thought Carl Urban's character was good in it. The fact that they had Judi Dench in it as as an ethereal angel type character who glides was cool. So there's elements of Chronicles that I liked, but overall I thought it was they were taking the franchise in a wrong direction. They kind of righted the course a little bit with Riddick, but Riddick was essentially a remake of Pitch Black to a certain extent. I loved the survivalist stuff in the first third of that movie that you were talking about, like the bit where he's like, where he's essentially like building up a tolerance to like that, like creature.
Microdosing.
I thought that was, but like the fact I love movies where they show but don't tell. Like a lesser filmmaker would have had a voiceover where they're explaining what he's doing. He doesn't. There's no dialogue. You have to figure out what he's doing just by watching him do it, because it's not like he's going to talk to himself. He's not going to do like a Castaway Tom Hanks Wilson thing. And they didn't do a voiceover, which was great. So I love elements and scenes like that in movies where the filmmakers don't treat the audience like they need to be spoon fed every bit of info. You just watch him do this thing, and then if you figure it out, great. If you don't, you can still, it's not like it ruins the movie. So I think elements of that was brilliant in the first third, but then like the last two acts, or the last half of Riddick, was essentially remaking Pitch Black, but like instead of darkness, it was like wet mud.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
It was definitely, I think Riddick is better than Chronicles, but neither of them are a patch on the original. And I think someone touched on it as well. Like the irony is, I think he chose. So Vin Diesel had Pitch Black, and he had Fast and the Furious, and he had XXX, and he chose to leave Fast and the Furious to do XXX. And then that didn't do great. So he did Riddick.
Yeah, man.
He did Chronicles of Riddick, and that didn't do amazing. So then he went back to the Fast and the Furious franchise. But like you said, he did a deal with the studio to get the rights to both Fast and the Furious and the Riddick franchise as well. So say what you will about Vin Diesel, the dude's obviously a smart businessman, and given that he's I think he's the sole, or at least the majority shareholder owner of the rights to the Fast and the Furious franchise, and those movies have made money. So he is a clever businessman.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't think I've seen. I said earlier,
someone said it's his best performance. I'm going to have to disagree. Boiler Room is what I would say his best performance is. I think he's brilliant in that movie.
He is. He's wonderful in that little film, man. He's wonderful in it.
And it's a movie that hardly anyone knows about, but it's such a good movie.
I've never even heard of it.
Very early in his career. Very early, like 1999, 2000.
Just after Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah. Like I think, like 99, I think it was. So Boiler Room, it tells a story of like the first credit crunch, like back in the 90s or the early noughties. It's Giovanni Ribisi is the lead, and Vin Diesel is like one of the guys. It's kind, and is Ben Affleck? Is that the one Ben Affleck's in as well? Yeah, Ben Affleck's got like an extended cameo in it. It's kind of like, think of like a low budget, grittier version of The Big Short.
All right.
I haven't seen that.
Does he have hair in it? Does Vin Diesel have hair in that one?
No. You're thinking of Finding Me Guilty with the wig.
Oh, yeah. I think that's it. Yeah.
Does he not have a wee bit of hair in Boiler Room?
Well, yeah, but that's because he just grew out a little bit. It's not much hair. It's just like darkness.
Yeah, he's not got a wig like in Find Me Guilty, which is a terrible, terrible wig. But like he's not proper, like, you know, shaved in Boiler Room. But
Find Me Guilty is a wonderful film. Find Me Guilty is
pretty good. Aye. But
find a picture of Vin Diesel with that wig on, Andy. You'll have a little chuckle, man.
But yeah, so
let's get it up on the screen.
I'll be there. You know, a new Riddick movie. I'm there for. I hope they. It sounds like they're, you know, going more Chronicles than Pitch Black again.
Yeah.
But you know, I'll be there opening day probably to see it and, you know, see what it's like.
Same.
Have you got it? Have you seen it?
I'm assuming that's it. That's shocking, man.
It is pretty bad, but
why does it make his forehead look absolutely massive?
I know. He is wonderful in the film, though. Ignoring the wig, he does act wonderfully in the film. Very. Is it a
courtroom drama?
Yeah.
Quite funny. That's what I'm looking at, because I just
check that bad boy out, guys.
He's a bit like the guy from Sopranos. Is his face?
He kind of acts like that. He has this like exaggerated, like a gangster accent. But no, it's a wonderful film, and he does give a wonderful performance in it. And it's one of his greatest performances that he's ever done. He's acted like nothing else you've seen him do. He's wonderful. Really is a talented actor, but not enough people know that. Sadly, he's more.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, how you could probably count in one hand how many proper dramatic roles he's done the way, because he very quickly became like a bona fide like action star. Any movie really with Vin Diesel is likely going to be an action, like it's an action star vehicle for him, really. Just looking at like Chronicles of Riddick, what a cast that's got, actually, when you look at it.
Yeah.
Fandy Newton's in it as well, man.
Colm Ford, Fandy Newton, Alexa Davalos from like Man in the High Castle, Keith David returns, and then you've also got Linus Roach, who is Ken Barlow's son from Coronation Street.
Do you know what's a really good early Vin Diesel movie as well that probably not a lot of people have seen? A Man Apart. Has anyone seen that?
Oh, yeah, I was going to mention that. I've seen A Man Apart. It's kind of like it's almost like John Wick.
Kind of.
I haven't.
Same kind of idea, isn't it? Is it not? He's
just like a revenge.
His wife gets killed, and he goes out. He's a cop, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he goes obviously proper Tonto and like goes for a death wish kind of thing.
It is good. It's a good film, man. I like that one, A Man Apart. I do like it. It's decent. But I'm only saying this quick because I know we've been going on long enough. A film that not enough people know about is his first movie called Strays. And the reason why it's got so many views is because I'm the only bloody person on YouTube who's ever reviewed it. It came out, and it came out in 1997. Pretty much it's his first movie. He self-financed it. He saved up for over a year, working as a telemarketer, saving 40 grand to make this incredibly low-budget film. Wrote it he wrote it on his friend's couch. He directed it. He was even the chef. He was just making like leftover food for the cast and crew. It was an insanely low-budget piece, like 40 grand, mental work, and based on that and a short film he did, Multifacial, he managed to get it, like, you know, he managed to get his name out there. Steven Spielberg got wind of him, and that's how he ended up in Saving Private Ryan. It's mental. I own the film on DVD. I'm a big fan of that movie. And I'm the only person on YouTube who's got a review of it. So I'm quite sad about that, though. It needs more recognition. Not enough people know this. He is a very talented actor.
8.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
It's stupid. I mentioned that. I mentioned that on YouTube too. It's stupid how it doesn't have enough recognition. But look, no one knows that he's. Go for it. I think it's free on Amazon Prime. But yeah, it's just not enough people know that he's more than an action star. He really does come from a legitimate background. He's been acting in theater since he was 7. No one knows that,
Yeah.
but it's true. And
I've always
also,
thought-
Iron Giant was great too. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've always thought his career has kind of echoed Stallone's. Ironically,
yeah.
like
Shit, I didn't think
Stallone
of that.
started off as a writer director,
A bit of a
and then
thespian,
he just became an action star because he was like, "This is much easier, and I'm making much more money doing this."
A goddamn good point, man. I like it.
Like that's Stallone did Rocky. He wrote that. He wrote the next movie, like Paradise Alley, something like that. He wrote and directed, and then the Rocky movies. But then, so at the start, because Rocky's like the first Rocky movie is so different from the rest of them because it's such a slow character-driven piece. It's a drama.
Mm-hmm.
But then within 5 years, Stallone just becomes like an action star.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think the exact same the same career path happened with Vin Diesel. Like you said, he wrote and directed his debut movie. It's not got a great score on IMDb. I've not seen it myself, but like a lot of people liked it. Spielberg liked it enough to cast him in his movie. He did that. He did a movie like Boiler Room, and then I think ironically the one I was talking about, A Man Apart. He did that. I think either
he didn't direct that one, did he?
He didn't direct it, but like in terms of like just falling into being an action hero, like I think by the time he did like I think Pitch Black and then Triple X and A Man Apart, I think he was just like, well, I guess I'm an action hero now. The studios are paying me a lot of money to do this, as opposed to writing and directing dramas, so I'll just spend 20 years doing that, which is what Stallone did.
Mm-hmm. Bloodshot, man. Holy moly.
I've not seen Bloodshot. Is a graphic novel, isn't it? I didn't even realize that recently.
Mm-hmm. It is,
based on a graphic novel. I've not seen it. A lot of people say it's like a reference disc, though. If you're right into picture quality and stuff, it's shot digital, but it's like a really super crisp 4K.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to see Vin Diesel go back to the drama a little bit and get a little bit serious, because he's obviously got it in him, hasn't he? It's a bit like The Rock. Like he's been doing these big budget mega films for years now, well over a decade. But he's recently he's currently filming a smaller A24 film about
and that's
UFC,
clever from him.
I think it is. Yeah, he needs that. He needs it. He needs to get out of this blockbuster, get out of DC's shadow and stuff like that, because that ruined him there. But
emulate Dave Bautista. He needs to emulate Dave Bautista.
Yes,
he needs to do.
Mate, who the hell would have thought out of all the wrestlers it would be Bautista, who is phenomenal actor out of them all? Like, I think he's better than The Rock in my eyes. It's just as far as acting.
Come on. Of course.
When's Drew McIntyre making his Hollywood debut? So that I can get him on the channel.
He's got a quality storyline going on at the moment with CM Punk. Very much into it, but right, all right. Go on, Jimmy.
No, I was just going to say, like, complete random tangent. 20 plus years ago, maybe, or about 20 years ago, like I used to film the wrestling shows in and around Glasgow.
When he was up and coming.
So when Drew was like, I mean, he wasn't skinny. He wasn't skinny back then. He was still built, but like he was half the size he is just now. But like, so like I've still got like mini DV tapes of like some of his first wrestling matches.
Wow, that's great.
Like, these might be worth something one day.
Love it. That's wonderful.
I bet you probably like one day maybe be able to sell them to like Netflix or Amazon when they maybe do like
if they ever do like a
documentary on them or something,
like a proper birth to superstardom story. Like because it was like, I mean, God, was that like? Would that be the early 2000s? I think it would be the early 2000s.
Like I don't know if I've told you this before, Jimmy, but I was like, he was in the same year at school as me. His press week, like he stayed like
I didn't know that.
So I know Drew like personally. Like I don't keep in touch with him, but I knew him like to speak to, went nights out with him and stuff like that. And I may have told you guys this before, but like he was an absolute beanpole, skinny. He was always tall, but he was skinny. And the group of guys used to hang about with, he was much taller than all of us, and he would stoop. He had a bit of a hunch because he obviously stooped so that he could be at the same level as us. But see, even at 15, 16, this is no word of a lie. See, Drew, if you asked Drew what he was doing after school, what's your plans? Like, what's your plans? You going to uni, whatever? Like, Drew would just say, matter of fact, completely serious. Like, it's my plan to join the WWE. Like, and people, WWE, I think it might have been at the time, but it was like, and people were just like, Good luck with that, mate. Like that's great, mate.
Yeah,
what else though? Like you go to uni though and stuff. Like, does have to say what are you really gonna do when that doesn't work out? He's like, I'm going to go and do a Bachelor of Science. Sports, physics, whatever it was, some kind of sports degree. He's like, but only while I'm like doing my wrestling in the background. And it's like cool. Like, and even myself, I thought, great, mate. It's great. I'm never going to piss on someone's ambitions, but I was like, best of luck to you with that, And then like. He did. He literally just went out.
Oh man, boy done good. Like, boy done good.
He's an amazing success story, and he's a really nice, modest guy. He's like really genuine guy.
Has he ever powerbombed you or not?
No, he's done it. We used to do like events and we used to do like Royal Rumbles and up the oval and stuff. I thought we like jump off a goalpost scenario, and it'd be like, hey, if you go over the line, you're out the Royal Rumble, and like Drew would turn up and like. But Drew could do it all. He was athletic in that, and like he was right into it. So like, you kept clear of Drew because you might actually get a genuine sore suplex or a DDT or something. But you won them all the time, But I didn't really participate in them. But no, there's definitely guys I know that they say that that's my claim to fame. I've been power bombed on in my bedroom by Drew when he was like 14.
Brilliant. All right, guys. We'll move on. Okay. Next story here. I haven't got loads to say about this one, but you guys might be able to help me with this one a little bit. So, a new Tomb Raider series has been ordered by Amazon. So, it has indeed. So, the only thing that's sort of putting me off about this is I'm not the biggest Tomb Raider fan. Like, as far as me and Tomb Raider goes, it's that first Angelina Jolie one that I saw in the cinema, and that's about it. Do you know what I mean? Banging soundtrack.
With the melons down up top.
Basically, yeah. Like, I've got a little bit of time for that film. Not one that I repeat watch every year or every 5 years, should we say, but I do own it in the collection. That's as far as I go with Tomb Raider. I saw Cradle of Life, is it? That was bag of shite, if you ask me. Yeah, not
very dear use Jerry Butler in it.
Wait, is Gerard Butler in that one, or is it Matthew Fox? Is it Gerard Butler?
It might have been the Scottish Sheep guy. I can't remember. It was either the Scottish Sheep guy or it was Jerry Butler.
No, that was it. That was Big Jerry. That was Big Jerry.
Cool, man. But
that one, did it?
I didn't mind that one that came out a couple of years ago. When was it? About 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been a bit earlier than that, to be honest. That was fine with Alicia Vikander, I think it was. But yeah, Tomb Raider series coming to Amazon by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And if that name rings a bell, she was recently... This is the only interaction I've had with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and she was obviously in the last Indiana Jones film, Dial of Destiny. Wasn't my favourite part of that film, I can't lie. But yeah, guys, Tomb Raider, have you played the games? Are you a fan of the franchise? What do you think about not a film, but a series coming to Amazon Prime? Andy, do you want to go first on this one, mate? Like, are you a Tomb Raider fan? Have you played the games? What do you think about the movies? And Phoebe Waller-Bridge bringing a series to Amazon.
Absolutely, mate. So, like, Tomb Raider was very much my generation, So, like, I was like a young adolescent when Tomb Raider came out. Angelina Jolie, like Polygon, Lara Croft with her conical boobs.
Yep.
And the games are great, but I was probably a bit young. They were like the puzzles were quite difficult, so I loved playing them. I loved the mechanic, and I loved trying to master the swan dive and all that. And I was a big fan of Indiana Jones, so that was probably the closest. Well, I used to play Last Crusade on Mega Drive a lot, but that was like '89 or something that came out. After that, you had like Tomb Raider was probably the closest we had to like an Indiana Jones video game, really.
Oh yeah.
So it was great, like innovative, really good. And then the films came out when I was like 16, 17 or something like that, 18 maybe. The Angelina Jolie films came out, and let's face it, they've always been a little bit inappropriate. Those a bit exploitive, shall we say? They've tried to clean it up as time's gone on, you know. But like it was always a case of like Lara Croft, the Lucasade adverts, all your glamour models that like portrayed her in photo shoots. It was always very much a like, this is aimed at little boys that play computer games, and you know, she didn't have a personality. She just had massive tits, nice arse, and she had 2 guns. Right? It was like it's a proper. And the games, the movies, definitely tried to put that into live action. Really, that's what you know. There's like, I'm pretty sure because Angelina Jolie doesn't have. It's quite kind of flat chested. I think she's not like the most curvy. She's beautiful, but she's not the most curvy female. And I remember reading that I think they padded her up and tried to make her more kind of curvy to fit in with how she was portrayed in the games and stuff. But they were good at the time. I remember Elevation, the U2 song was like used in it and stuff like that. I enjoyed the films, but looking back, they're probably crap. But at the time, they were good. Yeah. I mean, Daniel Craig got his kind of break as well in the first one.
Oh my god, yeah.
Jerry Butler was probably hoping for the same, but it didn't quite work out for him. The same. He didn't quite rise to the stratospheric heights that Daniel Craig would. But yeah, I liked him. I thought the Alicia Vikander one was good.
Really?
I don't mean to sound sexist though, but it was like when it's watered down and made a wee bit more like from a female perspective, then as a kind of hot-blooded male watching it with that nostalgic pang for what was sold to me in the 90s. I don't mean to sound like a total perv or anything, but that was what was sold to me as Lara Croft in the mid-90s and into like, you know, the Angelina Jolie iterations of it. So the kind of watered down, more realistic kind of version was good, but it just lacked a bit of kind of, I don't know, just
bit sex appeal.
I mean? Yeah, do you know what I mean? Walter Goggins is in it as well, who's now like a massive hot tatty.
So yeah.
But he's a kind of forgettable villain in that. It's just forgettable. And I think the game's better because it's based on the games. I really enjoyed the new iterations of her in the games for the PlayStation 4, was it? And it basically just feels like a remake of the games. If you played the game, the first Tomb Raider game, and then watched the Alicia Vikander, it's almost a straight rip from the game. You know, the kind of tone of it and stuff. So yeah. If you want a series of Tomb Raider, I'm all for it. My only concern is, as you kind of mentioned, Ellis, is that they've already attached. Phoebe Waller-Bridge has already had a crack at the kind of adventurer gig. Because let's face it, Indiana Jones is basically Lara Croft's dad in a way, isn't she? Like, it would be Lara Croft if it wasn't for Indiana Jones. And didn't quite work. Flopped at the box office. She was a wee bit annoying. And she, you know, some of the gags I think that were hers were quite good in it. But maybe they're thinking, I'm surprised she's getting a chance at Lara Croft, given how unsuccessful Dial of Destiny was. But maybe they think, this is a totally female-led thing, so it's more playing to her strengths. She can properly exercise her kind of her writing creativity. Like she has excellent Fleabag. Fleabag's really funny. So if she kind of brings that unfiltered into like the Lara Croft IP, then it might work.
Like, because she's not starring in this one, so it does say later on in this article that she's definitely not starring in it. She's just writing in it. So, and she has won an Emmy for her writing work. So, I've got a little bit of faith. But Jimmy, Tomb Raider, are you up for this one or not?
Yes and no. Like, I kind of agree with everything Andy said there. On the one hand, but on the other hand, Fleabag was phenomenal. Fleabag was amazing.
Yeah, Fleabag. So,
like anything that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is going to write, I will be watching. And I didn't like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I didn't like her character in it. I don't think she was responsible for writing her character. Maybe, I mean, there was ad libs and improvs and stuff like that, but like I don't like her character being annoying. Is, you know, as much her fault as it is the writers, directors, I suppose. In terms of like, you know, the original Tomb Raider movies, the Angelina Jolie ones, and then the Alicia Vikander ones, like you guys, like I think we're similar ages, Andy. I remember playing the first Tomb Raider on, was it PlayStation 1, I think, when it first came out?
PC and PS1, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Saturn as well, it was on the Saturn.
Sega Saturn, that might have been what I played it on, actually, yeah. Saturn. Yeah, that's how old I am. I remember playing Tomb Raider 1 and Tomb Raider 2, and as soon as you said mastering the mastering the dive, I just like a flood of memory came back to me. It's like,
it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. So I did like the game.
Pull up as well.
Yeah, the handstand pull up.
Yeah. One, you did it.
And just like the fact that she had 2 guns was just like, this is so cool. So yeah, I enjoyed the game. The first 2 at least I remember playing. I don't think I've played any since then. The Angelina Jolie movies, I mean, they were all right. They weren't amazing. I think like I think the recent reboot was just bad. I did watch it and it was bad. I didn't have anything positive to say about that. I'm not going to go the Andy route of talking about cup sizes because I don't want to get cancelled. But yeah, I thought that was a bad movie. I guess this is very much like
my defense. I'm on the baby,
right? For fuck's sake!
I think I think the next bit of news that comes out when we know who's going to play Lara Croft, I think that'll be like that will either sway opinion or people will double down on their prejudices. Like I said, Phoebe Waller-Bridges as a writer, yes, 100%. But who are they going to get to play Lara Croft? Because I think Angelina Jolie was a much better Lara Croft than Alicia Vikander, and her movies were much better. And like you said, the second one's got Jerry Butler in it, so obviously I love that one.
The most recent Tomb Raider film, like it just starts off so badly when she's like on the bike and she's going through like London or whatever, where she just had like the fight or whatever, like a boxing, like she's training or whatever it is. It just starts off so mediocre, that film. But you are right, Andy. I think that film was sort of mirroring the games of the time.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same with the Angelina Jolie one. I remember playing the first Tomb Raider game on it was just PlayStation 1, and I remember I couldn't get out of the like complex, like the house complex. I remember running about, and it's got like a training sort of like area in the garden bit. Could never get out of that bit. But
the creepy butler, man, the creepy butler.
Locking the butler and the second one.
But
damn.
Badger, Tomb Raider. How are we feeling about this one?
Yeah, so I didn't really play the games as a child. I wasn't a PlayStation kid, but I did dabble in it at some friends' houses. I
think that's the first time I've heard you say I didn't play the game. Like,
probably. Yeah, I didn't really play them. I only dabbled in them a little bit. So I did watch the Angelina Jolie movies, and even though she was perfectly cast in them, no, they were not good films. They just weren't, in my opinion. I got a lot of use to the DVDs when I was a kid, but then I discovered internet porn and lost use for them.
Yes, badges of clips, my comments.
Yeah. You're back on top, Andy. You're all the bad books now.
If you want someone to make you
terrible badger, terrible.
Hashtag Andrew Tate. Anyway, that was it. So yeah, no, I didn't. I'm joking, by the way. I didn't even own them on DVD. But yeah, did not like those movies.
Pirated copies.
No, I hated them, man. I hated them. I was like, well, man, I just ruined my mother buying Sky. I've been cursing her Sky on these films. I hated them so much as a child. And I did play the remake game, the 2013 one. I did played it twice actually, and I do like that one a lot. Thought it provided a very fresh take on Lara Croft. I thought it was very strange she wasn't as sexualized. She gets fucked up if you make mistakes. She dies a lot, man, in horrible ways. It was grotesque and messed up, but I was really into it. I thought it was a really solid game and a great performance by Lara Croft, the woman who played as her. The movie with Vikander, what was her name? Vikander?
Alicia,
whatever.
Alicia Vikander.
Okay, well, unpopular opinion. I'm disagreeing with you guys big time here. I really liked her in that film. I didn't mind the opening. I actually did surprisingly like that film. I liked how it faithfully adapted the 2013 game. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really interesting, really bizarre at times, very grounded. I was surprisingly into it, how they made it about this like cursed body by the end. It was quite a peculiar like twist, and I liked it. I honestly thought she was wonderful as Lara Croft, and I was annoyed that we didn't get to see more of her. I didn't love that film. I thought it was like, 6 out of 10, 6.5. It was a passable film. I liked it. But I thought she was easily the best part of the film. I wanted to see more of her, man. Same, in my opinion, it's a shame we're not getting more. But if that's the case, sorry. I look forward to this series then, I guess. I just hope I would like it if we got something more like Vikander. I would hope for a Lara Croft like that, not a ridiculous supermodel like Angelina Jolie. How did John Voight push that out of his ballsack? I don't get it. It makes no sense. I don't get it.
John Voight's ballsack. There's the soundbite for the stream.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, Badger.
You're very welcome, good sir.
Timestamp. There you go. There's a timestamp. John Voight's ballsack. John Voight's ballsack. 121.
You know someone's sampling that and putting it in a dubstep song. You know it.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Go for it. Go on, Andy. Sorry, mate. I just cut you off.
No, I just wanted to quickly say I also enjoyed the Alicia Vikander movie, like genuinely, and this isn't just me trying to course correct. It's not like a disclaimer. But I did enjoy it. I just thought it was like one of those films though. Like I'm thinking now, and I can't think of a single set piece in it. I can't tell you anything that happens in it other than Walter Goggins is the bad guy. She's the Lara Croft. And the bit at the beginning, the boat goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Aye, that was just taken from the game, and it's Dominic West, her dad.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
yeah.
But see, other than that, I can't remember a single action sequence in it. So it was just a bland. It's just a bland movie. I think like at least the Jolie films are memorable for being kind of like really over the top, kind of like early noughties nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's
all right, guys. We're going to move on now. Something that we're all going to be mega looking forward to here. Keeping on the Amazon Prime sort of topic, there's been a sequel announced in the last 24 hours or so. Sorry, no, 14th it got announced. We are getting a sequel to Roadhouse. Hey! Jesus. Yeah, I'm not going to spend long on this one. I just wanted to bring it up. There's a review on the channel, guys, if you want to check that one out that me and Andy did. Cheap little plug there.
I watched that. That's a good review.
It is actually, yeah. Well done, lads. I did watch it.
Thank you very much. But yeah, so we were sort of so on this one, weren't we, Andy? It wasn't I think, to be honest, when we did the review, I started thinking about it like for more than a couple of minutes. I was like, you know what? This is a bad fucking film, man. Like, this is not a good film whatsoever. I think I had it at 3 stars, but then I pinned it back down to 2.5, and I think that's even being a bit generous. But that's like equates to a 5 out of 10 for me. But yeah, Roadhouse sequel confirmed with Jake Gyllenhaal returning. It is unclear yet whether we're getting our friend Conor McGregor back in this one. I didn't mind Conor McGregor in the film. He definitely knew the assignment. He knew what sort of film he was in. I think the most like entertainment I had from this film was not actually from the film, but it was from all the press junkets or the red carpet that Conor McGregor was on. Oh my God, there's been some quality content come out of that. I tell you, he was on a couple of substances there, definitely. But yeah, Roadhouse sequel. You know, I'll be there. I'll watch it. That first one was fine. I don't think it has a patch on the Patrick Swayze film in my eyes. You know, as cheesy as that film is what it is, I think it's got a lot of heart. The characters are so memorable. Like whether you're talking about Sam Elliott's character or, you know, just Dalton himself, I think Patrick Swayze just absolutely owns that role. Yes, Jake Gyllenhaal, bit of an understated sort of performance with this one. It's not in your face at all, but I think he handled the fight scenes pretty well. I'm in the minority where I actually like that final fight sequence. I know it was filmed a bit weird.
So did I.
But like, I thought that the way they did film some of the fight sequences in this film was quite original, whether it was a bit CGI heavy, but I like the way it looks, can't lie. But yeah, Badger, I know you were a fan of Conor McGregor in this film. Are you excited about a sequel, and do you want to see him back?
I don't know how I feel about this. God damn. Look, so look, just real quick, I have zero nostalgic bias like Valley with the first one. I first watched it about 2 years ago for the first time, and I think it surprisingly holds up. I really am a fan of it. When I watched it recently, I decided like, oh my god, I have to get this on 4K Blu-ray because I really do like the film. I really do like it. I think it's fun. I think it's good, cheesy fun, good stuff. That remake just pissed me off, man. I respect that it was quite different in areas. I just couldn't stand so much of it. Out of the blue, it felt like a Bad Boys remake or something. How crazy it got with the boat scene and shit. I was like,
yeah.
This, but I don't know. Like, I don't get it. Is it good to kill people or is it not? What is the film's message? I don't get it. But when Jake Gyllenhaal like becomes a serial killer in that film, I'm like, fuck off.
It's totally all over the place.
It's terrible. But with that being said, I know it's so unlike me to say it because I'm not usually into over the top stuff. I did like Conor McGregor in it. He reminded me of a GTA character or something. He did.
I'm not sure that's a compliment.
For me, it is. I liked how over the top he was. I thought he was funny as fuck. I really did like him. I wanted him to be in it a lot more, but then he was overshadowed by that lame ass like villain, that mastermind villain. I couldn't stand it. I kind of dug it because I thought he was the only thing actually adding something new, something fresh to it. When spoilers for the mid-credit scene, when it turns out in the mid-credits that he's still alive, I was like, no, look, I would normally be excited for a sequel, but because I really didn't like this film, I don't care. I guess I'd like him to come back if he's in the film a lot more and he's nuts, then yeah, I'd like that. Maybe it could provide something for me. Who knows? But I don't really care. I gave this remake a 5 out of 10 when I reviewed it, and I stand by that. I will only watch it again just to fast forward to the Conor McGregor scenes, which I thought were funny. And believe it or not, I kind of did like those fight scenes, even though Andy is completely right. They were overproduced. And what he said in the review that you guys did, he was totally right. I understand why it put him off. They were overproduced. But surprisingly, they kind of worked for me. As flawed as they were, I did like them. Yeah, I don't know. Who gives a fuck?
That's fair. Jimmy, what were your thoughts on Roadhouse, mate? Remake, sorry.
Yeah, the remake was not a great movie. It was tonally, like you said, Andy, it was tonally all over the place. I think I've just checked on my Letterboxd there as well. I didn't do a review on it, but I did give it on Letterboxd. I've given it 2.5 out of 5. So yeah, 5 out of 10. It just, a lot of it just didn't make sense. Like the character motivations and what going from A to B, and then like you said, becoming a serial killer. You're just like, this doesn't make sense. Like one of the things I liked about the original Roadhouse, other than Swayze, obviously, was like it was a simpler story, and like at least the first half or the first third of that movie is like he's a bouncer. This is what being a bouncer or a cooler. This is what being a cooler is. This is the job. This is what you do. Like I liked that kind of like structure of the kind of like, you know, of the first movie, whereas the second one, he just kind of turns up and then he's in this bar that doesn't look that big, doesn't look like it needs that many bouncers. Like there's more staff than customers in the bar in the remake. Yeah. And you're just like, why is this? Why does this movie exist both like in our world and in the movie world? Why is this happening? It doesn't make any sense. And I just remember thinking, like, I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's such a maybe not an underrated actor, but I think he's one of the best working actors today. Mm-hmm. I want him to be in better movies. Like, I mean, he's as good as he's allowed to be in this movie, and the dude got in incredible shape. But yeah, I just think this movie was all over the place. The Roadhouse remake was all over the place. And Jesus Christ, Conor McGregor, you're laughing at his character, but like you're laughing at his character because it's like, so like he thinks he's in DuckTales, but no, you're in a serious movie. It's it was all over the place. The fight scenes were annoyingly like CGI smoothed out. Like,
Yeah.
I get why they did that, and I get why they're doing that technique. But I think audiences are sophisticated enough now where you can tell that that's 4 shots stitched together, even though it's like quote unquote seamless. You know it's CGI shots stitched together. It's not necessary. With look at what they do in John Wick, as you know, as much as people we were talking about how that was there was too much in that, but at least those choreographed fights, like, they make sense and they're not overly. Saying a John Wick fight scene isn't overly produced isn't maybe the right thing to say, but you don't watch a John Wick fight scene and think, oh, that's a wee bit too much, like, CGI stitched together. Like, I think with the John Wick fight scenes, they use CGI to like remove wires and add in muzzle flashes and things like that.
Yes.
But the actual fight scenes are well choreographed. The fight scenes in the Roadhouse remake were they looked like a video game, and a really good looking video game, but like a video game. And it just didn't make sense. I expect more from Jake. I expected more.
It's a bit of a like out of left field performance or role that he would take, isn't it? Like when you look back at his sort of his filmography and stuff, he plays a lot of drama roles. Apart from obviously Ambulance that he did with Michael Bay. I think maybe this was just a bit of like an audition for like, can you start putting me in more action films, but more like better IP action sort of films? This just feels like a sort of like straight to DVD sort of film. Like, and I know it's gone straight to streaming, but it's quite hilarious. One guy who definitely won't be back for the sequel is Doug Liman, the director, because he had a major kickoff about it all before the film come out. I think he was under the impression that this was going to go to the cinema, and he made some outlandish remarks being like, oh yeah, this is Jake Gyllenhaal's best performance. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Sorry, what?
I don't think so.
No, bloody hell. But like, like Jimmy was saying, he got himself in terrific shape and stuff like that. And he sells the action scenes well. And just to piggyback off that comment as well, you can tell with John Wick that they've been rehearsing for like 4 months before they shoot a 15-second fight scene, whereas Roadhouse, they were probably filming for the entire time of their rehearsals in John Wick. But I don't know. I don't think this one's for me. I'm not overly excited.
I know that Jimmy and Andy will agree with me here. If you guys want to see Jake Gyllenhaal in an action film that has a lot of heart to it, please watch Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Holy moly.
Very good film.
One of the best films of last year.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, Jimmy, you loved that one, didn't you? Was that was high?
It made my top 5 of last year. It's such a good movie. It's tense. It's well shot. It's such a good movie.
What surprised me the most about that film? That it's just a Guy Ritchie film. It feels nothing like a Guy Ritchie film whatsoever.
Very different for him.
It's so good. The only reason why I don't own it is because I'm hoping for that 4K Blu-ray, and hopefully this is the part where Jimmy says, "What? It's already out," and then he whips it out.
Hang on, what? Hang on, that's a different kind of video.
Oh, fuck.
You think it's up to my OnlyFans for that?
Love it.
All right, guys. Have we got anything else to say about the Roadhouse sequel? Should we move on?
Oh, yes. I'll eat my...
Please move on.
Right. If Conor McGregor's not in it.
Right, one more little story to do with Amazon Prime. There's been another order. So we're basically getting... I don't know how you guys feel about the animated Spider-Man movies that we've had in the last couple of years across the Spider-Verse. People are big into them, man. And one of the characters from them films that definitely I loved was Spider-Man Noir. So it has been reported, and I think it's a done and dusted deal, guys, that Nicolas Cage is reprising his role as Spider-Man Noir. But not only that, this is the element that I find quite interesting. It's going to be a live action series. So I don't know how this one's going to work personally, but this gets me more excited than if it was just an animated sort of carry on from them two films. Not sure how it's going to work, but I just want to say Nicolas Cage, I absolutely love this actor. He's had the biggest up and down career of any actor I've seen, but you know what? I don't fault him for it because he's just paying the bills. It's fine. He's worked his way back up to starhood now ever since Mandy, in my eyes. Like going from there, from like 2018 onwards, he's just made some absolute bangers. Like, of course, there was Pig. What else has he made recently that was an absolute banger? He's got a film coming out this year called Long Legs. That's a bit of a sleeper, under the radar serial killer film. I'm looking forward to that one. But Mandy's a quality film, man.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent was quite well received.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. But I just think as a general population, we don't look at Nicolas Cage the way we used to look at him 10 years ago, maybe when he was making all these direct to DVD films and stuff like that, just pumping them out basically. But yeah, guys, what do we think about a live action Spider-Man Noir? I find it quite strange in a way. I've got a lot of questions because Spider-Man Noir, it's all dealing in black and white. Is this going to look like sort of that? Like we get the black and white section in Dune. Is that how that's going to look, sort of live action type? But I don't know. Andy, what do you think about this one? Nic Cage live action Spider-Man Noir series.
I think it's interesting. It's an eyebrow raiser for sure. It's especially they're highlighted. You've highlighted the live action. So
yeah,
I'd heard about this and I just assumed it was animated as well. Given that that's how he's portrayed him so far as animated, so I don't know enough about Spider-Man Noir. Like my only intro to him was in the Spider-Verse films. I know that there's like, is it a series or is it like a kind of one-off?
He's been around for a while. Can you not remember? I think he was in a game, Web of Shadows, that came out in like 2013. That was a while ago. So he's been about. Paul, who's not here with us this week, folks. He'd definitely be able to. Yeah, he'd be able to tell us a bit more about this. But that's my first interaction with this character was in that video game like 10 years ago, whenever it came out.
I don't think I want to see this as like. I don't know how dark the comic. It's obviously like in the Spider-Verse. They come at him from a kind of humorous angle, like it's quite tongue in cheek, and he's a bit of comedic relief.
Yeah,
I think that's how I would like it to be played, to look like Sin City, and maybe not to actually see Nic Cage's face very often.
Yeah,
to be in like a Mandalorian type gig. And for it to be like so melodramatic and so noir, so over the top and like deliberately depressing that it's funny, like that's a parody of noir is how I would see this working. I think if they went full on, this is going to be the darkest take of Spider-Man you've seen. That I don't know if I want to see a dark take of Spider-Man, and if I do, I don't want it to be Nicolas Cage playing in Spider-Man Noir. I'd rather it was like a dark take on the classic Spider-Man character. But
like Spider-Man.
I'm up for it. I think it's really I think it's either going to be dog shit or it's going to be amazing. It's going to be one of those ones.
Yeah, man. Jimmy, what do you think about this news, mate?
I mean, Andy stole my line that I was desperate to say. If it look, a Sin City looking Nicolas Cage starring Spider-Man Noir show, like. That's a good sales pitch. That's a good sales pitch. Sign me up. But if you think about it on a more slightly more in depth, the character Nicolas Cage's character in Spider-Verse, comedy relief, and that's and it fit that role perfectly. Do I want to see him in the lead role of a live action show? I mean,
8 episodes.
Now that they've said it, yes, I want to see it. Do I automatically think that's a good idea? No, I don't. I'm not sure. Like, I want to see it now that they've announced it, but comedy relief in one of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man movies, versus carrying his own show and like transitioning to live action. It's definitely an oddity, and I'm wondering like what's happening behind the scenes with Sony and MGM and Amazon. Did I miss some news? Did somebody buy somebody? Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, I think Amazon Prime, they're getting their hands on a couple of properties, though, not just with Sony and Marvel. They're also going to be releasing the Cape Crusader, which is obviously DC related, and that was going to go from originally going to be on Max, HBO Max.
Right.
Amazon acquired it. So I think Amazon are just acquiring all sorts of, I don't want to say the dregs of these companies, but stuff, not dregs, but stuff that maybe Sony feel like 50-50 on, that they don't know whether they can make the money back on something like this, or it's a good idea, or we'll just give it Amazon, see what they'll do with it.
Yeah. It's it's an odd one. But Nicolas Cage, it's love him or hate him, like he never underperforms. Like
No.
he always swings for the fences. Like, you know, he never phones it in. Like he's always aiming for a home run. Sometimes he strikes out in like terrible fashion, and then sometimes he'll knock it out of the park. And then, you know, that the next, and then, but it's pretty much like amazing, terrible, amazing, terrible, and that's, you know, everything. That's like the Nicolas Cage roller coaster, you know.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Badger, what do we think about Nicolas Cage coming in for Spider-Man Noir on Amazon?
Well, I'm freaking juiced now that I know it's live action. So look, obviously, if it was going to be animated, I'd be okay with it. It's just that it would be more closer to the film. And forgive me, guys, I wasn't even the biggest fan of that film. I need to rewatch it. Into the Spider-Verse, I need to rewatch it. I only saw it once, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I was like, it's okay. I saw it. I didn't think too much of it other than how pretty it was. So I didn't even bother with the second one. And it's very surprising I wasn't into it, because I really cannot pick between Spider-Man or David Dunn from Unbreakable. You know, as a superhero, like those two, just I can't pick between them. They mean so much to me. So anything Spider-Man related, I'm usually there like instantly. Sadly, not with them. But with that being said, Nicolas Cage, I thought was fantastic as the comedy relief, Noir Spider-Man. You know, I really liked it. That was my introduction to the character. I was really into it. I thought him getting his own show in animation form would have been interesting, but now I've just found out it's live action. Now I'm juiced because I want to see him in person do it. I think he can do it. I am a big fan of him, of Mr. Cage. I think he's wonderful. He does swing for the fences. Yeah, his career has been up and down like a teenage boy's wrist. Okay, I understand. But at the end of the fucking day, the guy knows what he's doing. Even in his shitty films, he's goddamn nuts. Like, I mean, like, even in that fucking Wicker Man remake, oh my God. Even then, the bees. Even then, he was
I've seen the memes.
Yeah. Even then, he was at least going for it, at least. And you know, he certainly wasn't inspired by the original Scottish masterpiece that was The Wicker Man. I adore that film, but still, look, he does new shit all the time. Mandy did surprise me. I did like The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, so good, so good.
Yeah, I did like it, and I haven't seen that film recently, the one where he's bald. That, you know, and everyone's dreaming about him. I can't remember the name.
Oh, Dream Scenario.
I can't. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, come out last year.
Can't keep up with Nic Cage's films though. He literally has like 3 out a year.
I know that film. I know you liked it, Ellis. That it was decent. What was that film where he held that guy hostage in the car? What was it called? It came out last year.
Oh shit!
It was okay.
Sympathy for the Devil.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, Joel Edgerton. Not Joel Edgerton, Joel Kinnaman. Sorry. Yeah, no, I like that. It was good.
Yeah, I thought he was badass at it. He had some great Nicolas Cage moments. He's a really wonderful actor. So to see him donning that costume playing as Spider-Man, holy moly! I'm hoping it's going to be like him in Kick-Ass. I really hope so. I really want to see.
He'll be buzzing about it as well because he's a big comic book nerd, isn't he? Like, he loves all this stuff. So I imagine this was an easy yes for him.
Is he not still linked to Ghost Rider as well? Like, I played Ghost Rider, but is he not still linked to reprise that role?
Andy, we might end up seeing him in bloody Deadpool, mate. You never know.
Is that what it is he's supposed to be in? I knew
It
that
wouldn't
was
surprise me
Supergirl.
if he made a cameo in either Deadpool or Secret Wars if they ever get around to making Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgive me. I like that first Ghost Rider. I thought it was hilarious. It's just
I
good.
think
Yeah, I do, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, really? I'm not
Elliott,
alone.
sick.
Oh, wow.
I've not
Okay.
seen it in a long time, but I enjoyed it when it came out.
Yeah,
Man,
both
no,
of those
I'd
steelbooks are some of the sexiest looking steelbooks that exist because it's just like a flaming skull on the front.
Nice. I
It's
would know.
quite expensive. The steelbook for the first film. Like if you see it going for second
Yeah.
hand on eBay,
Yeah, like that.
goes
That
for
and
$40.
Ben Affleck's Daredevil, like those two steelbooks, and the
Yeah!
Elektra steelbook. Like,
Don't get me. Mate, that Electra steelbook. Why is it so expensive?
I know I've got them. It's like next door on a Marvel extended Marvel steelbook. Well, like they're on the wall. Like
You
I
got
managed
those,
to
you
get,
did?
Oh, no
yeah,
way.
I managed to get a copy. Yeah.
Well,
Like
bad.
I'm looking at Psychopath. I managed to pick up a copy of Elektra, unsealed it, put it on the wall.
Nice.
Mate, you could have got
I
like
got
200
the- I found just the standard Daredevil director's director's cut. Maybe I can't remember. Standard
The
Daredevil
Coolio
Blu-ray
cut.
anyway.
Coolio cut,
In
yeah.
like my local CX, and I snapped it up because it was like £3. I thought I'd got myself an absolute bargain. I was like, oh, that's so rare. Like, it's out of print, it's so rare. And then I got home and discovered you could get it on Amazon for like $5.99. It wasn't rare at all. But I'm glad I've got it though. But
Nice.
do you know what's in my local just now? Reign of Fire, which is quite expensive though. Reign of
Oh,
Fire's on
yeah,
Blu-ray.
get
I haven't seen that in
it.
years, and it's
Get
10
it.
quid. 10 quid in CX,
Worth
so I think
it.
I'm going to go in and trade a few things and get it because it's like that definitely is out of print. If you go on Amazon, it's like I think the cheapest you can get on Amazon is 25 quid, like
No
used or
way.
something.
Is that the steelbook
Yeah.
or just the regular?
No, just the bog standard. I don't know if there's a steelbook.
Mate, Matthew McConaughey in that film is awesome.
Oh yes,
I
Van
enjoyed it. I remember
So
enjoying
good.
it at the time, and it's just one of those films. It's never on telly. It's never you don't see
And
it.
Gerard Butler's in
Anywhere.
that one as well, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a very early role for Jerry B.
Ah, it's a
That's
good
a movie
film,
where I
Quality.
enjoyed it, but like that's a movie where the trailer and the poster sold you a completely different movie than what the movie ended up being. Like the trailer and the poster like sold you a movie where it was like helicopters fighting dragons, and that was one 5-minute scene in the movie.
Yeah.
The rest of it is like a survivalist, post-apocalyptic survival movie, more akin to almost like a horror than like I was expecting Aliens, and what we ended up getting was more akin to Alien, But I did like the movie, but the trailer done his dirty on that one. I thought
It was
I
like
love that
28 days later with dragons.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly
thing.
that. But now, see if they just put that on the poster, I would have still enjoyed it because that that's still that's a good concept in the movie. I do like the movie, but I remember being really upset with like the marketing for that, which is like you sold us a different movie. I hate it when they do that. Like they did that with what was it recently that Up Here went on a diatribe? Civil War. Civil War. They did that with Civil War. Like they sold us a Civil War movie, but what it actually is like a low-key character drama road movie that happens to take place through a Civil War. Like the Civil War happens like in the background of these characters in the car. A good movie, but not what the trailer sold us.
I can't wait to watch that.
I really enjoyed Civil
it.
War, but you're right, it was totally mismarketed.
Yeah.
It Comes at Night was the worst one, man.
Oh
Comes
yeah,
at
that
Night
was a bad one.
I liked the film. I did like it, but that's only because thankfully I watched all the reviews warning me beforehand. It is not the fucking film they advertised. God damn, like it's nothing like what they advertised. Absolutely a light years away from what it was advertised as. I was glad I didn't get disappointed there. God bless reviewers.
Pop quiz on Nicolas Cage. How many films do you think Nicolas Cage has acted in?
Oofed.
Oh my god.
I've got the answer up here.
145.
I've seen his
47.
closest, right?
47.
62.
Believe it or not, Jimmy is closest.
What?
He's acted in 123 movies.
What the hell?
70 of them in the last 3 years. No, I'm only kidding. Probably 70 of them have been in the last decade.
Yeah.
What's my price?
Them out. Yeah, according to MDB, he's appeared as an actor 123 times. There you go.
Jesus Christ. Fair play. He was good, man, in The Weatherman. I've really thought that was an
You know, it's a
overlook.
good film. It gets forgetting about, and it's a Ridley Scott film, and it never gets talked about.
Matchstick Man.
Matchstick
Yeah,
Man,
baby.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Great
it's good, man.
film.
Yeah,
Sam
that's a good
Rockwell.
film.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Never gets talked about though. See, if you ever you watch like lists of like good Ridley Scott films, never gets mentioned. But
It's
I
a
really
good
enjoyed
film,
that
man.
movie.
Yeah, it's really
Lord
good.
of War's
man. I like
another good movie he did around at the same time.
Banger. I haven't seen that for a
Not
long
Ridley
time.
Scott, but a good Nic Cage film.
That's a good movie. I enjoyed that one, yeah.
Absolutely. Incredibly unpopular opinion. I actually did like Knowing. People want to stone me. When
I don't mind that one, Badger.
You're not the
I
only
don't mind
person
it.
I've heard say that, Badger. Some people think that Knowing's a decent film.
Yeah.
But
Is
I
that, am I
haven't
right in
met
saying,
him.
is that Alex Proyas that did that as well?
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe
was
right,
it?
and I'll double check.
I don't know.
Who did the
Yeah.
Crow?
Whenever I say I like it, people just like wince at me, and I'm like, "Oh, come on, man!" It's
all right.
not that.
It's all
I
right.
liked it. I did like it.
Is Knowing the one that he's the pilot? He's a pilot.
Oh
Ah,
God!
is it the next day or something?
Yeah, there's this diabolical like flop, like this insane flop. It was something like that where he's a pilot.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I don't think he's a pilot, but it's to do with it has to do with like there is an airplane sequence of numbers where he's predicting what's happening. You know.
Yeah, that wasn't
right.
Knowing. I wasn't talking about Knowing. He is a pilot in this film that came out like 5 odd years ago or something, and it was diabolical. This major low budget
I
film.
think that's
that
called.
flopped.
Is that not called The Next Day or Next or something? That one. But yeah,
No,
it is
no.
It is Knowing though that I think has a bit of a. You're right, Jimmy. It is Alex Proyas, but I think Knowing has a little bit of a subculture following. I think
thank
some
God.
people quite like it.
I wish I could meet those people. I'm feeling alone. I
I've
like
not seen
that.
it, so I can't comment. But
I like it, man. I like that film. I was very surprised by the ending, which loads of people hated. I was surprised by it. I like that film.
Ben Mendelsohn's in it. I'm seeing.
Hmm.
There you go, Rose Byrne.
Yeah, I don't know what that film was called though, where he played as a pilot. I can't remember, but it was
It was
this.
The Next Day. Let's find it.
Was it? Yeah. Let's find out real quick. Sorry, I know I'm dragging this out, but I just want to know. Yeah, what is it?
Well, you guys figure that out. I'm going to go and pee and have a pee break, so I'll be back.
Right, cool.
Yeah, no worries, Jimmy.
You fucking dickhead! You fucking dickhead! You dickhead!
I need to get one of them. For God's sake, that's brilliant.
Wanker, I love him. That's great. Oh, I love it.
I can't believe I've managed to have 2 cans of lager and not go to the toilet. That is unlike me.
I'm on my 4th one. But it's those little dumpy cans, so it's really like 2 cans. Right, that film. I want to know what it's called.
When did it come out, Badger?
Around about, I think it was about 2014 or something like that. 13. Left Behind.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it's got a whopping 3.1 on IMDb. Yeah, it looks to me to be his lowest rated film. And that's saying something.
Yeah, I'm assuming it doesn't have too many people who voted, right?
Well, national, yeah.
It's how many like ratings does it have on IMDb? I know it's low.
You're right.
Probably 1,000 or 2. It's like
Tell you,
diabolical.
mate, I'm just looking at like the 43,000.
Oh
ratings.
wow! Okay, well, more people.
Directed by Vic Armstrong, who I'm assuming is the Vic Armstrong, like the director, the stunt. It is, yeah. So that I didn't know that.
Insane.
Directed by Vic Armstrong of like stunt fame, like Indiana Jones and all that. There you go. Left behind. A small group of survivors is left behind after millions of people suddenly vanish and the world is plunged into chaos and destruction.
That's right. Yeah.
3.1.
Diabolical, yeah.
Right, guys, we're going to move on to the next story. We've only got 3 more stories, by the way. So don't worry.
Okay.
We're coming at the end. We're coming at the end. It's been a long one.
Andy's got plenty of lager left. He's all good, man.
We've got 1 can left.
Right.
Shit, we've got to make it quick.
Doesn't need to be drank on the stream, though. It's cool.
Right,
this is the first day of my holidays. You see, I'm off now till a week on Monday, so hence the.
Yeah, same, Andy.
Lovely.
It's great. I break it like that's it. I'm not in tomorrow either. I'm so buzzing. But right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next story. Let's get this done. Right, Badger, I want to get your thoughts on this. So you might not be a mega Fantastic Four fan, or you might be, whatever.
I think I know why you ask me this.
But you've got to be a fan of this particular human being because he has got, like yourself, one of the best voices in the business. So finally, we have found out who is going to be playing Galactus in the new Fantastic Four film, and it is Ralph Ineson. So this guy has been around the block a fair few times. He's been on British TV forever. I think he was in The Bill at one point. Like, this guy has been everywhere. I think the last time I seen him was in The Creator, and he was also in The Green Knight as well. But yeah, this is, I think originally there was rumors circulating that they were going to either get Javier Bardem for Galactus, or they were going to get Antonio Banderas, which I think would have been a terrible choice. This one was on no one's radar. This guy, no one, all the rumor mills that I was reading, looking out for, YouTube, all that good stuff. No one had Ralph Ennis at the top of their bill for Galactus, and all you need to do is go and listen to like 20 seconds of this guy speak, and you will be like, oh yeah, totally get it. And you know what? Props to this guy as well, because he's been like a character actor for so bloody long, like well over 2 decades now. It's just good to see an actor as good as this getting the dues a little bit with this role, because I think this film is going to be insane big. Along with this casting announcement, I haven't got it up here on the page, but we also have Paul Walter Hauser, who's joining the cast, and also John Malkovich as well, who's joining the cast. So the cast for Fantastic Four, in my eyes, Malkovich, is absolutely off the charts. But yeah, Ralph Ennis as Galactus, I am 100% all over this. I love it. I think he's going to be terrific. I like this choice way better than Javier Bardem and Antonio Banderas. No good, that for me. But Badger, this guy's voice, it is almost as deep as yours, mate. What do you think of this?
His voice is deeper than mine, don't be silly. So I don't really know much about this guy. I did see him in The Office back in the day. I did remember him as the masseuse who kissed that guy's ass on IT Crowd. That was funny. So yeah, I kind of was familiar with him, but I haven't watched The Green Knight or all the other stuff he's been in. He's also achieved a lot of fame through the Final Fantasy game recently, and I haven't played it. Yeah, I haven't played it, so I'm not really too familiar with all of it. But I did watch The Creator, and when I heard him, I literally thought his voice was fake. I thought he was a robot. Right? He's got a very convincing American accent in it, and I thought it was a robot. Because obviously the film is about robots. So when he was there speaking, I was like, what the hell? What have they done to his voice? Sounds all pixelated or whatever. And then I looked him up. No, his voice naturally sounds that way. It naturally sounds pixelated. yeah, his voice is insane. And his strange northern accent is not very unexpected. And I love it. It's wonderful. So yeah, I don't know much. I know nothing about this character. I don't know anything about Fantastic Four, although I'm surprisingly excited for this new film. Surprisingly, I'm really excited for it. I really am. Him just adding to the list of people like being in it, adding to the cast. Yeah, sure, why not? I'm totally up for it. I know nothing about the character, never heard of him before, but yeah, by all means, Ralph Ineson. I don't know how to say his last name. But either way, he's going to be awesome. I look forward to it, and I'm glad that he's been achieving some fame, even though he's mostly been known as the deep voice guy. So why not use that voice, right? Yeah, wonderful character actor. He's done a fair few things. I need to see a lot of more stuff that he's been in. Yeah, but I did know you were going to go to me as soon as you mentioned it. I was, fuck off the list.
Mate, he's just got a phenomenal voice. Like, I really recommend watching Robert Eggers' The Witch. He plays that's probably his most prominent, biggest role that he's had in like the last 20 years, where he's featured the most in the feature that you're watching. Because like I was saying before, he's more like of a character actor. So love the fact that he's getting this role. But Jimmy, what do you think about this guy in particular getting the role of Galactus? I think there was some rumors going about that it might go to Javier Bardem, and they were looking at Antonio Banderas. I'm sort of glad they didn't go down that route. I think they're just too bigger names for a character like this. For a character that's so visually interesting, I think getting a no name, and I feel bad for saying that, but I just think a lot of the population won't know who this guy is. They've maybe seen him in this or that. But yeah, man, what do you think about this casting choice?
Other than The Office, I don't think I've seen him in anything. You mentioned
you've seen him and stuff. I'm
mentioned
looking at his filmography just now.
Yeah,
The
you
Creator.
mentioned
You've seen The Creator.
I've seen The Creator. I didn't like that movie, so I've maybe just blocked most of it out. But I can't remember him in that movie at all. I remember him in The Office. I know he's in The Witch, but I've actually not seen that. I need to actually watch that. It's been on my watch list for like 4 years, or however long from when it came out. So in terms of the casting specifically, I think not going with a lesser name, no disrespect to the guy, is the right thing to do. I reckon Marvel they're going to be putting a lot of eggs into the Fantastic Four / X-Men basket as a soft reboot for their universe. Like, I wouldn't be surprised once Deadpool 3 comes out, if that does like initiate a soft reboot of the franchise, and the X-Men and the Fantastic Four going forward become the staples of that cinematic universe. So obviously Galactus is a huge character at Marvel in general, Fantastic Four specifically. So in this dude, Ralph Ineson's casting, other than The Office, I can't think I've seen him in anything, so don't know. But Galactus, Fantastic Four in general, I worry that there's so much, stock going to be put on the Fantastic Four, and pressure, so much stock, so much pressure, so much onus is going to be put on the Fantastic Four and the MCU X-Men, that if they fail, is it going to be the end of my beloved MCU? I just think they're putting so much onus on Fantastic Four, and the stuff they've released so far hasn't been met with overwhelming positivity. Like that kind of that weird like comics 50s comic style photograph, like artist rendition that they released announcing the cast. That wasn't universally applauded. I'm still on the fence about, whether I think that looks good or not. I think all of the cast, are great. They're good actors. But yeah, I worry for Marvel going forward. They were riding so high for so long, and, deservedly so. And I loved the MCU. But post Endgame, it's not been, they've had more misses than hits. And if the Fantastic Four is a miss and the new X-Men is a miss, that's them.
Imagine if Deadpool's a miss. Holy shit.
I doubt that though. I don't think that.
Even if it's not good, it will not miss financially.
Yeah, true.
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
definitely not.
I mean, look what happened financially with the Marvels though. Like the Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. The sequel was the lowest grossing Marvel movie out of the 32, 33 movies. That was the lowest grossing one.
That's a very there's a lot going on with that though, because let's face it, Captain Marvel did well because of where it was positioned.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, it was sandwiched in between, Infinity
Captain
War
Marvel wasn't a $1 billion film by any stretch of the imagination on its own merit. It's just because of where it was, because people were absolutely champing at the bit
for anything
in between Infinity War and Endgames. I think that was why that did so well.
Yeah, well,
but your point's still valid, and it was a monumental drop in box office, but I think there was more to it than just that it wasn't a good sequel, if you know what I mean.
We've also got John Malkovich and Paul Walter Hauser. And Paul Walter Hauser seems to be like hot shit at the moment. Everyone wants a bit of him in the film. I think he was rumored to be like pretty much lead or playing like a subversion of Quentin Tarantino in The Movie Critic that got cancelled a couple of weeks ago. So he's in demand. I have no idea who John Malkovich is going to be paying, but looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to it. The 60s aspect has me intrigued. I think just on a visual standpoint, that'll make it feel unique and stand on its own a little bit. But yeah, man, I think like Jimmy was saying there, I think they're putting a lot of stock, a lot of pressure on themselves when it comes to Fantastic Four and X-Men. Like, it's one of them. I think because X-Men 97 is so effing good at the moment, that's also going to put some self-inflicted pressure on them for releasing a live-action X-Men going forward, because people are so hyped with that X-Men 97. If like we end up going back to like black leathers and stuff like that with X-Men, then I think that's going to like skew people's brains a little bit. We want the campy, colorful X-Men that's playing right now, because the storylines that's going on in that show as well are so adult themed. They just really nail it on that show, really nail it. But Andy, have you got anything more to add on this casting or anything? John Malkovich, Ralph Ineson?
Not really.
No.
Mate. Just Ralph, like I'm just looking at he has been in everything, Ralph Ineson. Like he literally has been in everything. So like you said, it's good to see that he's maybe, sadly, it might take something like an MCU role for him to kind of like finally be recognised, when he's probably done a lot more kind of valid stuff. But just when Jimmy said I've not seen him in anything, I can guarantee you have and just not realised.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
he's been in Chernobyl, the TV series. He's been in Ready Player One. He's been in Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
What?
He's been in Peaky Blinders. He's been in The Witch. He's been in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's been in Kingsman.
Who was he in Last
Yeah,
Jedi?
everything. Like as obviously, he was a Ravager pilot in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in The Last Jedi. He played like he played like an officer, senior first officer.
I know he was in Game of Thrones. He was definitely in Game of Thrones.
He's probably in that as well. Yeah, let's go back.
He's
in the Harry Potter films. Like he's literally been in. He's been in and around all the major franchises. You know, he's one of those faces you see and probably don't even recognize that doesn't register that you've seen him in it. But
yeah.
The joke is like only 10% of the time has he been like typecasted for his voice. They haven't even his voice hasn't been exploited. You know what I mean? That's the weird thing. I figure like an abstract trait like that, he would have been like used a lot more, but no, he's only recently gotten into the voice acting game, really. And
in the North, he was in the Northman as well. He's been in loads. I couldn't have told you that off the top of my head. It's only because I'm looking at it now, but it's an impressive CV of work. But it's only now that he seems to be getting higher up the billing, it would seem. Probably the catalyst being The Witch, as Ellis said. But yeah, no, I'm up for it. I think Jimmy's right. I think that, and I think it's what the MCU needs. It needs a new Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. It needs a new like ensemble that people know, known IPs, not your kind of wild cards like the one-offs like your Guardians of the Galaxy who ended up being household names, but most of the other characters have tried to, the other lesser known comic offshoots that they've tried to bring forward haven't really found an audience. So I think like it would seem natural to have like Fantastic Four and Deadpool and the X-Men be your new kind of core group that take deal with the next massive threat over like an arching amount of movies that hopefully people can get behind. But it's important that they find the tone again, find the new Marvel MCU tone that, like the way it did across the tens, they just it was lightning in a bottle. Their finger was on the pulse with culture and what people wanted in a superhero film. They need to just find it again, and I think they've got so much. They've thrown so much at the wall that they can take feedback from, and all their shows, their animated shows. There's so much out there now that they should be able to look at the numbers and go, what pulled people in? What was it about X-Men 97? What was it about, WandaVision? What is it about, that people, what is it about that they liked? And then maybe try and forge that into the new tone going forward, the kind of the core tone that everything needs to tie into. and try and replicate that success that they had, with phases 1 to 3. So yeah, like I think it's great that he's getting the recognition. I'm sure he'll be good. I think going with unknown actors is always better. Antonio Banderas is a terrible idea. Like,
Fuck no.
he's became
he's terrible.
He's became a parody of the. Javier Bardem is a good, reputable name and actor, but his voice is too distinct. His voice is too distinct that right away you'd be like, because he's got that Spanish accent. Whereas Ralph Ineson's perfect because he's got to be that voice. You're like, that's familiar. Most people will be, that's familiar, but I don't know who it is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's kind of he's perfect for it. But yeah, the MCU, I'd love to see it coming back. Back to kind of what it was, but we'll just have to kind of see, I suppose.
Yeah, man, 100%. All right, guys, we've only got 2 more little stories now. This next one, this one's quite old news, but we haven't spoke about it on the stream, so I'll just get this one up. Just want to get your thoughts and opinions on this little outfit that we've found on James Gunn's Instagram. Okay, people. So it's been revealed. Our new costume for Superman, not Superman Legacy, just Superman, has been retitled. Right. When I first saw this, like most of the internet has sort of already said, I did think this was just, this is like one of them AI photos. So this is like like when you keep seeing Clint Eastwood as Wolverine in the 60s and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I just thought,
like those AI posts. I go through every single one.
I thought this is what that was, and it was just the background that put me off, sort of thing. But then James Gunn's like put in the thing, like, oh no, this is like a on-set, like in camera sort of what's going on here. I'm assuming that big purple light in the background is the volume. So like what they've been using in The Mandalorian, obviously they use it in the Batman a little bit. But as far as the costume goes, it's a Superman costume. Yep. We've seen them all before, but this one, it's taken a lot of aspects from the new 52 Superman costume, but this one definitely has the trunks. I was a fan of the trunks. I was an advocate of the trunks. I'm happy we got them. But yeah, I don't know, this costume, it's quite busy. It's more busy than I thought it was going to be. I think it's just the position that he's sat in. So like the creases and stuff like that, the upper half makes it seem like it's a lot bigger than what it actually is. But my biggest thing when I looked at this image was not really the suit or the background or anything like that. It's his face a little bit. He looks so depressed. Like I thought when we were going to be getting our sort of like first look at James Gunn's Superman, I had it in my head that it was going to be this like polar opposite to Man of Steel. So very bright, very colorful, like heroic, hopeful, good vibes. This is not that, or not that really. It's a bit of a sad image in a way. It's just like, oh my God, I'm putting my boots on again. Here we go again. I've just sorted this out, and now it's back. Brainiac's back again, so I'm going back out again. It's like I don't know. It's for me, the costume's fine. It's more the theme of the image that I'm a little bit dumbfounded with. It's not what I was expecting. And I don't know, just no smiles here. No smiles. Jimmy, what do you think about this first image of David Cornsweet as Superman?
I think the vast majority of folks need to just calm down.
Chill the hell out.
It's one photograph. Yeah. Like I think Andy and I talked about this when we did our in-person podcast last month. When it was just the S shield that was revealed, and everyone's losing their shit over that. And just like it's just one photograph. It's not indicative. It's not indicative of whether the movie's going to be good or not. Like the costume, whether it's crumpled or not, whether it's padded or not. I mean, every superhero costume is padded to a certain extent. Like maybe with the exception of maybe The Rock and Black Adam, because that just looked like it was painted on him. But like they're all padded to a certain extent. I'm totally fine with the way the costume looks. I was surprised to hear or to read even like on James Gunn's Instagram that was an in-camera shot. And like you said, it's must be using like the volume or the rear or something like that in the background. So that was surprising because I thought, because it does look completely fake,
Yeah.
But it was it's what it was. It says here the above photo was taken by whoever the photographer, Jess, somebody, our intrepid still photographer, and is entirely in camera. So that was quite surprising. I think James Gunn is just having a laugh with, and just kind of like, I think he's trolling himself and he's trolling the internet. I think there's no way he sees that photograph with that facial expression and the costume the way it is. There's no way he puts that out there and doesn't expect the internet to like, go nuts. I think he's just having a laugh. Like, I think he knows what he's doing. I think he knew that this would get a lot of negativity as well as the positive. I think he knew it was going to be polarizing. And I think he's reveling in that a little bit. But that's the double-edged sword with being, with the world we live in a kind of like constant news cycle and instant gratification with social media, and B, the fact that James Gunn embraces that and is so prolific on social media. Like, he puts up a photograph, an extreme close-up of the Superman shield, and, it's news. That's the news for that 24-hour, 48-hour cycle. And then a month later, he puts up this photograph, and that's news. Next month, it'll be another one. And it's like, they say any publicity is good publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity. He puts up a photograph. A lot of people hate it. People are talking about the movie that he's making right now. The guy's not stupid. Like, that's by design. It's by design.
It's creating conversation and debate. Negative, positive, and ultimately what comes out of that is people want to go and see the end product to the site, because now they're interested to know, well, who had the right valid point? Was it shit? Is it good? I'm going to go and watch this now, because they're invested in the arguments and the run-up. I think you're absolutely right.
Badger, what do we think of this costume?
No thoughts whatsoever. I hope the film's good. I've got no thoughts at all. It is what it is. To me, it's just a Superman costume. That's it. Move on.
I never even thought of it like that, Jimmy, when you were saying, he knows what he's doing. He's probably putting this up because he knows people are going to lose their fucking shit about it, man. Like, and like you were saying, like, he is not afraid to go on Twitter and just like answer whoever. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter.
He will engage with the audience online. He'll engage with fans and non-fans alike. Like, there's not a single ounce of me that thinks that he is surprised by the polarizing nature of the photographs he's putting up. I imagine him sitting there giddy, posting this on Instagram, waiting for the schism and the polarization to happen. Like, he's doing that on purpose because he knows what he's doing. The movie's like, they're in the middle of filming. It's not when's it come out? Is it next year it's scheduled to come out? Like next July or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, so the movies, they're still filming it. It's a year from coming out, and it's all anyone's talking about right now.
It's a Superman costume, baby. Exactly. Come on.
And it's one photograph. Like the marketing guys at Warner Brothers must be just like, yes, keep doing that shit,
Yeah. I like that it tells more of a story than what we had when Matt Reeves revealed the Batman costume with Robert Pattinson, and he sort of revealed that photo test that he did. It was just a completely grey-red background sort of thing. It didn't tell you anything. I think at least with this image, just take the costume out of it. He's added the background and stuff like that. I know, like I'm saying, like it's a bit dour, but like the color is definitely there. If you remember back to Man of Steel, when the first costume reveal for Man of Steel came out with Henry Cavill, and he's in front of like a bank vault door, that image is sucked of all saturation. Like there's no color in that image at all. Like it's bordering on black and white. So at least with this one, looking at the image, the colors back definitely, and you can see like at the top half sort of battle worn in.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is, sorry to interrupt, but it just popped into my head there. Like, so he's confirmed that the photograph is in camera, so the background stuff is real. But he's not. And I've not read through all the comments, but I don't think he's mentioned anything about like this might not be like what's his name, the actor playing Superman, David
Cornsweet.
Like this could be just actor David putting boots on on set. This might not be
behind the scenes shot.
This could be a behind the scenes shot. This might not be him in character. This might be David Cornsweet at the end of a 16-hour day putting the boots on to continue filming, and he's like, "Oh, I'm tired." You know, it's not. This isn't necessarily sad Superman. This could just be tired actor, and it's a behind the scenes shot. It just looks like it's in universe or sort of it's in character because of the background. Like it could totally be like when you see this scene, even if this scene might not even be in the movie. Like this might not be in the movie. Like this could be just the character looking tired, putting the boots on, getting ready to start filming. Like it might not be Superman. This could just be actor David putting on a bit.
Yeah, that's fair. Andy, you are a fan of the OG franchise with Christopher Reeve, is it? Sorry, Christopher Reeve? Yeah, he played first.
I still think Reeve's costume's the best of the lot. It encapsulates like everything, like the hope, the vibrancy, the kind of like, I don't know. I think Superman's a pure character. He's an alien. He's skin. He is naturally invulnerable, other than kryptonite. So he doesn't need padding. Doesn't need body armor type costuming. I think that's what was. It was probably happened by accident in the 70s and 80s, but it was literally a nylon, like thing, and it was like that was it. It was, you could pass through it. It was like, because he didn't need any protection because he's the Man of Steel, and it showed off Reeves' natural physique. The one thing, again, I agree with Jimmy in that like, let's not Badger, let's not lose our mind over a stupid photograph that's probably just James Gunn trolling, But while we're here and we're talking about it, if you want my opinion on what I think of the costume at first glance, I think it looks over baggy. And I've seen images of the actor and how much effort he's put in to get into shape. And I think it's a shame that like why use any false like padding, false muscles, baggy costume. Show off the guy's physique. He's worked hard. So like, but I also appreciate that there's a legacy of Superman looks. You've got the comics to draw, and you've got what's more important here is the live action stuff that's came before, because this is a continuation. So you've got the TV show. You've got Dean Cain. You've got Tyler? Is it Hoechlin? He's called. You've got Superman and Lois. You've got Christopher Reeve, Henry Cavill. So you've got to do something different. You can't just have the same costume. So fair enough, but it's just a costume. But and he's sitting over, he's crouching and all that. So we don't know what it looks like when he's in some kind of classic Superman type publicity shot pose. But it looks a wee bit kind of industrial and baggy for my liking.
It looks like a jumper, almost that top bit, like the top half of it.
I would buy that jumper if they sold it.
What I've came to realise though is I think when Jimmy said his name out loud there, that's the first time I've heard this guy's name said out loud, and it sounds ridiculous because I've never heard his name spoken in media. I've just seen Instagram posts that I've read the name, but is that his actual name, Cornsweet?
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's Corrin. That's how it looks, Cornsweet. Yeah.
Unfortunate name.
Cornsweet. Cornsweet.
Corrin's what?
Somebody's like, that, isn't it?
The more I think about it...
No, go on.
No, you crack on, mate. You crack on.
I was just going to say, like, out of all the Superman costumes we've had, I think my favorite was the Brandon Routh one we had from Superman Returns, because it was like it met in the middle of that classic vibe that we got from Christopher Reeves and that sort of Zack Snyder over textured sort of look a little bit. I always was a fan of that. Yeah, go on, Jimmy. Sorry, cut you off there.
I was just going to say, like, the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking that's a behind the scenes shot. Like, that's not in character. So. Like that's the actor putting on a bit. Like I don't think that's an in character shot.
I like that theory. I would sort of hope that's the theory going, just because I don't know, man. It's just like I am in that 0.1% where I'm losing my mind over it, and it's just like so. What's he thinking though? Like what's going on in his head? Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's one of them ones. I was like, he looks so sad, man.
He's probably like thinking, "Holy shit! Please, hopefully they don't do me dirty like they did Henry Cavill."
Yeah,
yeah, man. And Badger, just to go off that, I don't think they're gonna I think the one thing Gunn is going to set out with the DCU moving forward, because I was going to make this its own storybook, because we're running out of time. So, Millie, who's playing Supergirl? She was just in House of the Dragon. I've forgotten her name, but anyway, that film is going to be Supergirl is coming out in 2026. So that's just been announced. That's being given a release date, and that will be the second film in the DCU, James Gunn's DCU. So he's definitely making this more Superman-centric than what we've had in probably 20 years of DC films, to be fair, because we love Batman. That's our guy. We orientate around him. I think it's quite nice and refreshing that we're going to be getting Superman-centric films going forward, because like you were saying there, Badger, they absolutely did Henry Cavill dirty in DC 100%. The biggest mistake of the DC EU was not releasing a Man of Steel 2 straight after and going straight into Batman. But what are you going to do, Zach? It's one of them.
Yeah.
All right, guys, because we've been going a while, we'll do this last story really quickly here. One more. So sticking with Warner Brothers. All right. So I've got mixed feelings about this one, boys. I'll have to see what you guys think of it. So we are getting a new Lord of the Rings movie. Now, along with this announcement, we've just had the trailer for the Rings of Power. I don't know if any of you watched that one. I was more forgiving of that show than most a little bit. I think it started off sort of well, then ended not so well. There was bits, there was moments, but I totally understand that was a big bag of poo-poo. So I am a fan of the Lord of the Rings, though, especially the extended editions. Like, love that. Mouth of Sauron, you can't beat it, all that good stuff. But then we get The Hobbit, which is a little bit of a train wreck for me. It's not three movies that I visit often ever. They've definitely got their moments, but they just went so over the board with the CGI in that it sort of took me out. When you've had something so pure as them first three films, like filmed in New Zealand and stuff. And I know The Hobbit was probably filmed in New Zealand as well, but you didn't get the same sort of feeling as you did in them first three films. So I wouldn't say no to more Lord of the Rings films. Just the only thing with this is that I'm not super like excited about the story that we're going to be getting. So it's been announced, new Lord of the Rings movie announced for 2026. So this is going to be a quick turnaround. Lord of the Rings Hunt for Gollum, directed by Andy Serkis. I'm just not Gollum's biggest fan. Like, I'm a Strider fan all day long. I'm a Legolas fan. I just feel like there's cooler aspects of the Lord of the Rings franchise that we could go into and get better films from. I just think Gollum, it's been done and dusted. Like, he was a heavy character in the first trilogy. He was there in The Hobbit. Obviously not a mainstay, but I'm not sure. And as Andy Serkis as a director, I'm not convinced. Like, he did that. Is it Mowgli on Netflix, which was that was fine. Then there was is Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which did he also direct? No, he didn't direct.
Yeah, he did. He did.
What? No, he didn't direct the first Venom.
No.
Let There Be Carnage.
That was
Let There Be Carnage.
Rupert Feist.
Yeah, whatever. I just think I don't know. Like, Andy Serkis is a big name, so when Venom Let There Be Carnage come out, like, he wasn't like mega plastered all over that film. And if your film's good, you're going to connect Andy Serkis with that film and just make it more apparent. I'm not sure, guys. I'm not sure. I want a new Lord of the Rings film, but I don't want a film about Gollum. Like, and that's, I might be being ignorant here. Like, some of you guys might have read the book, so maybe know more about this aspect or whatever. But I'm 50-50. there's one side of me that wants new Lord of the Rings films, especially if it's Warner Brothers that are doing it, because don't have any faith in Amazon doing anything with Lord of the Rings currently. But yeah, Jimmy, what do you think about this one, mate? You are a fan of that Lord of the Rings franchise, aren't you?
I am indeed. I was literally talking with someone about that today. Like, I'm not wearing it anymore because I'm in like, pretty much in my jammy, you know. But like today on a job, on a professional job, like I'm, smart jeans, smart, polo shirt type thing. But I've got my what I thought was my subtle Lord of the Rings belt, and then the client on set was like, "Is that a Lord of the Rings belt you've got on?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" And he was like, "That's cool." And I was like, "Oh, brilliant!" So then, I was geeking out with the client on set, so that could have went either way. A big fan of the original Lord of the Rings movies. I did a cinema marathon with the extended editions last year. Videos on the channel. Cheap plug.
Watching it's good.
My next tattoo, or one of my next tattoos that I've got planned is a Lord of the Rings tattoo. Like, those movies are, all three of them are 5-star, 10 out of 10 movies. The Hobbit movies, they are not good. The Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power show, I forced myself to finish that show, and it was a struggle to get through it. I was not a fan of that show at all. I can't think of one good thing to say about it other than it looks like they spent a lot of money on it.
It was not the most expensive show ever made.
Something like, I think so. I remember way back when it was announced, I think they spent 250 million just to get the rights. So before they even like wrote a script or put someone in front of a camera, they were already $250,000 in the red. Like, God knows how much it cost in total. But yeah, was not a fan of the Rings of Power at all. But Andy Serkis is, even though Venom Let There Be Carnage wasn't a great movie, I think he's
It's been generous.
I think he's the fact that Andy Serkis is involved is the only thing that's making me intrigued about it, to be honest. I don't think it's a story that anyone is desperate to see. I know that I literally, like, on the Empire Film Podcast, I listened to that on the drive home today, and they talked about this. And like one of the contributors in that has read the books many times, so knows the books. And they talked about how there is a, like, in the Fellowship of the Ring, there's like a 17-year gap between Gandalf first going to see Frodo, going away to figure out what's happening, and then coming back. That's 17 years apparently. Like, whereas in the movies, it's a 3-minute montage. So I think from what they were saying, they're like that during that 17 years when Gandalf is piecing together the story and the timeline of the ring, that's when this is potentially going to take place. So while that intrigues me, and while I think Andy Serkis is a talented individual, I mean, his performance in Andor is brilliant. Him as a director, I don't think he's had a showcase piece as a filmmaker yet. He did a lot of the second unit photography on the Hobbit movies, but again, that's not much of an endorsement. Those movies aren't great. It's a movie that I don't think anyone is crying out for. It seems like a 10-minute short film that would be a DVD extra, rather than its own big budget movie. Like, no one is asking for this, so why?
And also, we've just got a terrible game that's just come out that, like, everyone shunned on. There was a Gollum game. What was it, this year or last year? One of the two.
Was there?
And
exactly. That sums up the issue, I think.
It did Diabolical. That and a King Kong game. Both of those games came out at the same time. Yeah. Ironically, both characters that Andy Serkis played as. That's a coincidence. But yeah, wow. Yeah. Anyway, both of those games like bombed fucking hard, and yet they're still giving it a go with this film, and obviously King Kong with the Godzilla film, like all that shit. They're still giving it a go. So, sort of, dude, it's just a bad game. I don't think that's going to impact this movie much.
Badger, you got any thoughts on this one, mate? Are you excited for this one? Are you a Lord of the Rings fan? Like, I've never really spoke to you about Lord of the Rings, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely. I am. I really fucking am. Massive fan of the Lord of the Rings movies. I adore them. Grew up with them. Love them to death. They're not my cup of tea, and yeah, I absolutely adore them. The Hobbit movies are passable in my opinion. I don't hate them. But the best parts of them was, the casting of Bilbo Baggins, and I loved Gollum coming back. And Smaug, holy shit, I absolutely adore him. I adore Smaug. My first video on YouTube was me doing a Smaug impression. That did quite well.
Nice.
That was my first ever video on YouTube. So yeah, I'm a fan of that. But yeah, I smell a cat, precious. That's what I'm thinking right now. Fuck it hell, I smell a cat grab in a big bad way. I want to see him doing all that again. That would be fun. It's always nice to see him come back. But I don't know. I smell a cat's grab. I really do. It's unnecessary. It's not even based on the book. So
I think if they can surround Gollum with more interesting characters than Gollum. So if Gollum's our Mad Max in this movie, where he's just sort of a passer-througher, do you know what I mean? And we're focusing on like a separate gang or whatever. Like I just cannot see a Gollum-focused, this is your main character movie. Do you know what I mean? I just couldn't see us spending 2 hours with Gollum the full time. Find that a bit bizarre, if anything.
I could imagine it. I could. I mean, Andy Serkis is an absolute delight. I really do feel like if this guy like passes away anytime soon, it's going to be one of those cases where you should have been alive during the time when he hit big, because this guy was kicking ass all the time. The amount of mocap what this guy's done, he's just on there. I think he's an exceptional talent, a remarkable talent. And I haven't seen the Mowgli film. I thought the Venom 2 film was passable. I'm surprisingly into it, even though I cannot stand so much of it. But I do think the guy has talent, and him directing, it's going to be bizarre, but I do look forward to it. In a weird way. I'm 50-50 on this. I think it's a cash grab. I do. I think it's totally unnecessary, but it could work. As just for the love of God, just make one movie. Don't force it into a trilogy like you did with The Hobbit, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Have they not confirmed that it's 2 movies?
Have they?
Oh, I didn't read that far into it. If that is the case,
sure
then that gives me a bit more
I'm sure
faith.
on the podcast on the Empire podcast today, I'm sure they mentioned that it's going to be 2 movies.
I think they should just leave it all alone. I haven't even seen Lords of Rings of Power, whatever the hell it's called. I haven't seen it. I don't want to. Looked bad in my opinion. Everyone told me how crap it was. But a number of people I know love it, but that's not enough to convince me. I'm keeping away from it. Is by the way, I literally don't know. Is Rings of Power a remake of Lord of the Rings, or is it a sequel, prequel? Is it set in the same
prequel thing, isn't it?
I think. I mean, I watched it. I'm trying to remember. It's definitely a prequel. It's a prequel. It's set it's set like 1,000 years before, but you've got young Galadriel, because she's an elf, so she lives for thousands of years. So it's young Galadriel as the lead in it.
Okay.
Because they wake the Balrog up at the end of it, don't they? That's sort of like not the end reveal, but like in the end episode, they dig too far into the mine and they wake the Balrog up from Fellowship.
Oh shit! I want to see it now. Why'd you do that?
Oh, mate, don't you'll waste 10 hours.
You will. It's not worth it, Badger. It's not worth it. Not worth it.
If you have to find a 20-minute recap video on YouTube and watch that, don't waste your time. It's bloody terrible.
I'm a sicko though. I'm gonna watch that second season. I'm gonna.
They're doing the second season, are they? Holy shit!
Yeah, the trailer come out yesterday or today. One of the two.
That's the thing. Amazon have invested so much money in this that they have to keep making it, and it's almost like they're burying their head in the sand, pretending that it's not shit. Yeah, it's shit.
If you've spent 250 million just for the rights for Lord of the Rings,
exactly.
like, kind of £2 to swing for the fences, like.
And it's crazy that is. Sorry, go on, Jimmy.
No, I was going to say, but I think that's why. Wait, is Amazon involved in the hunt for Gollum at all?
No.
Or is that no? Oh, no. My theory makes no sense. Then ignore me. Carry on.
Yeah, because I was just about to say there. So it's crazy that Amazon have bought the rights for the Lord of the Rings, but yet they've only bought the rights. So Warner Brothers are still being able to release movies like whenever they want. I think Peter Jackson is involved with this new movie some way, somehow. So that gives me a bit more faith, but he was also involved in The Hobbit. So it's a bit like, oh,
yeah.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one. Andy, have you got any final thoughts on this one, mate? Then we're going to wrap it up.
I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, to be honest. I appreciate that the original 3 films are masterpieces, not ones I revisit that often, although I did get them in 4K maybe like a year ago, 2 years ago. And I watched Fellowship and I was like proper hooked and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I forgot how good this was.
Yeah.
But then just didn't. I fully intended to then watch 2 and 3 and I still haven't watched them. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I think it's, see, the whole fantasy kind of like swords and sandals, medieval fantasy. That's not my jam. So, but
yeah,
the original trilogy is so good that it kind of pulls me in a little bit. But yeah, I tried. I watched the first Hobbit, struggled to get to the end of it, and then I've had no interest in seeing 2 and 3. So when Rings of Power was announced, wasn't interested. Although I'm a big fan of the game, Shadow of Mordor, and then what's the second one called? War? Shadow of Mordor, and then Shadow of War. Love those games. Got the platinum for both of them. Amazing games. I would rather.
Holy shit, those are big games.
I've actually got the platinum for Shadow of the original one twice because I think I got the platinum for it, and then I fancied just playing it again. But I bought like the one I bought unknowingly was the Game of the Year edition, which has a completely separate set of trophies, even though they're just the same. But because I loved it so much and I'm a trophy hunter, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this again. So I just went through it, the exact same thing, just went through it again. And
so you like the game?
I love the games. So that's contrary to, because the combat system's amazing. It's Warner Brothers. It's when they went through that. It's when they did. I think it's the same team that did the Arkham. Games and Mad Max. So Arkham, Mad Max, and Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor were all the same production company. Is it Rocksteady maybe? I can't remember.
Montreal, Warner Brothers Montreal.
Rocksteady Montreal. I think it was all. So it's the same kind of game engine. Amazing.
You've just reminded me there. I need to get back into that Mad Max game, man. What a phenomenal
good
game
time to do it. Yeah, Mad Max is amazing, man. It's such a good game. Really underrated.
I really missed out on that, man. I missed out on that, and I missed out on the Lord of the Rings game. I really did. I missed out on them.
You haven't missed out on them, mate. You can go back and they're very playable, and they still hold up like graphically. So I'd play them. But anyway, back to the point. Gollum movie, absolutely not interested whatsoever. If I'm honest, like if it comes out and people are saying, "Oh, this is amazing," like this is a real resurgence for the franchise, I'll go and check it out. I think Gollum's an interesting character, and that's largely in part to Andy Serkis, his portrayal of him in the original films. But it's not something I'm really interested in.
That's fair, mate. That's fair. Well, guys, we have reached the end of the stream. Sorry, it's been about 3 hours. I knew it was going to be a beefy one tonight, but it is what it is. Thanks for coming on, lads. Badger, thank you for coming on. Andy, thanks for coming on, mate. Jimmy,
welcome. Thanks for having me.
Hope you'll join us again one day, mate, in the future.
Pleasure, guys. Thank you very much.
We'll sort something out. Join us next week, guys. We will be back on Thursday night for our Mad Max tier list. Some more movie news, and over the weekend, next weekend, I think me and Paul will be doing a full-on spoiler review for Furiosa. So join us for that one. Nice. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Cashes.